online today at victorymen'shealth.com.
Radio.com is now Odyssey. Download the Odyssey app and listen to 97.1 FM Talk and all the news, sports, music, and podcasts that move you. Odyssey, that's AUDACY.
The Annie Fry Show is sponsored by Forensic IT, the tech experts that find the root cause of your technical problems. ForensicIT.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
Right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not a married sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not a married sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
You want the fox to guard the hen house? I mean, give me a break. I think this is something that has huge privacy implications. It is not necessary to do. We're going to have hit 3.5 million seniors that have gotten shots sometime this week, likely 75% of seniors. It's important to be able to do it. But at the same time, we are not going to have you provide proof of this just to be able to live your life normally. And I'm going to be taking some action in an executive function, emergency function here very shortly.
So those vaccine passports that we've been probably tongue-in-cheek joking about, I don't know, maybe starting last fall when we started hearing about Operation Warp Speed and everything that comes along with getting a vaccine. Now they're really part of the conversation. Now they're really part of the administration's conversation. But you won't need to use one to go to Florida, or you won't need a passport to actually come into the country, which is interesting. Kind of a strange combination there. Welcome into the Annie Fry Show. We're very glad to have you here today. Happy Tuesday. Hope you enjoyed your time yesterday with Mike Ferguson. I said to Katie today, I had a long day yesterday, had to take care of some mom duties. And I just said to Katie right now, I said, what did you and Mike Ferguson talk about yesterday? And this is after I said, Katie and I were discussing earlier, I was like, what is the big news going on? Like everything is the same that was happening last week and probably the week before and probably the week before that. Mm-hmm. There's a border crisis that continues to get worse. Kids coming over here increasing by the thousands, the tens of thousands. We're about to amass that number. I did see that in San Diego, they're going to be teaching. The teachers have decided to teach some of these children in person, but you can't get your child taught in person. If you are a taxpayer, those teachers aren't willing to do that. Are you kidding me? So that's happening. What else? Biden's mental acuity, still a question mark, which would have been amazing if over the long weekend that I had, it would have been fixed. That would have been news. Still question marks surrounding where he is and what he's doing. Kamala Harris is still laughing at weird things. I mean, it is a Groundhog Day scenario, Katie. So yesterday, Mike Ferguson filled in for me while I was out being a mom. Mm-hmm. What'd you cover?
A lot of it was local stuff, some stuff that might be happening, proposals for St. Louis County, an earnings tax that might be implemented. We covered Lil Nas X and his shoes and his crazy music. Yeah, his crazy music video, immigration, and basically everything that we've been covering besides the Satan shoes, but everything else we've been talking about for the last couple of weeks. We talked about yesterday.
The devil shoes. So Lil Nas X is rapper singer. Yes. Would you say he's a musical artist, and he made some devil song. There's a music video about him. Like I was going to say being inappropriate with the devil. I don't know how to be appropriate with the devil, honestly. But forging a relationship with Satan, one of my close family friends said to me, "Did you see that video?" I go, "I'm not watching that video. I'm sick and tired of needing to invest my eyes and my brain cells in the nonsense that I can glean. There's nothing in that video that's going to be like, well, you know what? I hadn't seen it that way." The headlines and the stories that were presented out there about what Lil Nas X, like what message he was trying to convey, watching the video is not going to change my mind in any capacity. And then I've seen it and I can't unsee it. So apparently there's a shoe that has been created that is a custom shoe on a Nike brand shoe. Nike's now suing these people. It's like weird to see where Nike had to step in and finally say, whoa.
Enough is enough.
I've had it from here. Like the outrage was actually so strong on this that Nike had to distance themselves from it. That to me is humorous. But these shoes are selling for over $1,000 a pair. I don't know how many pairs there are. I don't care how many pairs there are. I don't care where these shoes exist. I don't care that these shoes exist. It's not as if this is the first real threat to our dignity and culture that has existed. It is a symptom of a broken culture. And Lil Nas could not have asked for better marketing for his product than to get this story into conservative circles and watch everybody melt down over it. I'm not suggesting we shouldn't be melting down over it. I've just been melted down way too many times here lately. I mean, what are we going to do about these shoes? I mean, are you going to not buy Nike shoes now? I mean, in these circles, Nike is not really persona non grata in many cases because of the stances that they've taken before, which, you know, all things relative is a little less shocking than sleeping with Satan. So at what point do we get with Nike where we're like, okay, now you've crossed the line? It's bonkers.
Yes.
And when I'm like looking through trying to show prep, because yesterday I paid no attention to the news, the weekend was kind of a slow news weekend from what I gathered. And I'm diving back in and I see this story. I'm like, of course there are shoes out that you can buy that celebrate Satan. Like maybe it's a little on the nose for today, but probably not going to be any more on the nose than anything else you're going to see next week if you look hard enough.
Mm-hmm.
Are you for these shoes, Katie?
You know, I am.
Did you buy some?
Heck no. That's what I look at these shoes and I'm like, they are not made for the average Joe. You know, I'm not going out and purchasing. They're over $1,000. I'm not purchasing the shoe. They're made for someone like Miley Cyrus, who is like, let me go ahead and tag on to this
gimmick.
To
shock people.
Yeah. Oh, and then she made a post and she tagged Lil Nas X and she's like, great shoes. He came out with a new song. He released a brand new song. He released a brand new music video. And 2 days later, he released these shoes. It all adds up because someone in his marketing and PR said, you know, it'd be really funny if we teamed up with this stunt gimmick company and did something shocking like this. And that's where I feel like that's where I think that conservatives just need to say, you know what? Free market. I'm not buying these shoes. I'm not letting my kids buy these shoes. I'm not exposing my kids to this music video. I'm not watching this music video. One less person got to worry about. See ya. I mean, that's where I think that we should be. I watched the music video. I was waiting for the song to drop. I had no idea what the music video was going to bring, but I knew the song was coming and I was really excited for it. And then I saw the video and I'm like, typical. Okay.
Not surprised.
Not surprised. And I'm not surprised about these stupid shoes. They're dumb.
Wendy reminds me they're selling 666 pairs, just a random number. Zach on Facebook says, putting it perfectly, Annie, bigger problems and the media loves to keep small things going to keep us divided. I mean, that's like how much of Doug from Up can we be? We see a squirrel and then we just love to chase it up the tree and bark at it, and bark at it and bark at it. But meanwhile, the squirrel is in the tree where it belongs. And we're the dumb ones. I almost said a bad word there, sitting underneath the tree, barking at the squirrel. Stop barking at the squirrel. There are children being carted across the southern border right now, shoved into baked potato sacks in housing units that are bigger, more expanded than they ever have been before. Even an improvement or a disimprovement, depending on how you look at it, than the Obama cages that were created in 2014. This is happening right now. We're not sure that our president, the president of the United States, it has the mental acuity to do the job. Every time Kamala Harris is asked a question about something serious, she laughs maniacally. It's weird. It's something that I think to myself, and I'm very sensitive to this because I don't want to be a hypocrite on this. And chances are one day I will cross it and somebody will call me on it and I'll apologize. Are we criticizing Kamala Harris for her maniacal laughter, her uncomfortable, nervous laughter when she gets a hard question? Are we criticizing her because she's a woman? Would we do this to a man? And I have to think it would sound even crazier if a man would react to these questions and be laughing about the idea of kids wanting to be in school and visiting the border and finding out that Biden is putting her in charge, no only from a diplomat type of perspective now, as opposed to she doesn't actually have to solve any of the problems. She's just the face of the problems. I don't know. Do you think that her laughter, like, why is nobody saying something to her about, you've got to stop this? Mm-hmm. It's preceded her campaign for presidency. There's a history of this. But do you think that the concern and the uncomfortableness that she puts out into the world when she's asked these very difficult questions, is she being extra criticized because she's a woman?
I
don't think she is. No, I mean, like you said, if you flip this and you had a guy doing the same thing, regardless of the guy, just that kind of nervous energy given off before giving a real answer to a real question, it doesn't come off as presidential. And if she's the candidate in 2024, I think there's a large contingency of people who might vote for her based on her policies, but that wouldn't vote for her based on just that characteristic.
Well, they didn't like her in the first place. And the other thing is that oftentimes when she laughs, she doesn't actually give a real answer. And because she's not facing a real press, nobody pushes her on it. So she gets away with it.
And it's like Joe Biden's nervous thing with saying, come on, man. Like, we all go after Joe Biden because he trails off, forgets where he was going, and then he ends it with anyway or come on, man, and then moves on to the next question.
Isn't it strange how even in his mental state, how he gets, like, he still knows how to get aggressive? Like, if you push on him and you ask him a question that probably wasn't on the card that he was handed before he was told who to call upon, if it goes a little bit, into the realm of questioning him and his role, he does become a little bit aggressive. Heath on our Facebook page says, she's being extra criticized because she's damn horrible, which I agree with.
And I think a lot of people in her own party probably agree with that too.
Eric on the Annie Fry YouTube channel says, no, I think opposite. I think if she wasn't a woman, she would be more criticized. Have we gotten to the point? I mean, women do have a whole different stack of expectations on a public stage front. Appearance, nobody can say that a woman and a man are going to be judged on appearance the same way. It's just not the case. There's a different set of standards and a different set of expectations. But have we gotten down this road of identity politics and woke culture so much that it's more common to know that you can't speak up about it? Like, you can't criticize a woman because she's a woman. Whereas if a man were doing the same thing, he would absolutely be criticized, to Eric's point on YouTube, to where maybe she should be getting more criticism, and she's not, because she is in fact a woman or potentially even a person of color.
Good point. Very good.
Yeah,
point.
and it's both. It really is, because there are instances where women will be criticized more than men on certain things, and then instances where you can't criticize a woman where you could criticize a man, because we live in a crazy, really messed up world right now that has no consistency.
Sensitive. Very sensitive world.
Yeah.
David on Facebook says Kamala sounds like Janice on Friends. Chandler Bing.
Oh my God.
That's terrible. Man, I love Friends and I would watch those episodes and her character is great, but there were times where I was almost like, I think I have to fast forward through this. I can't watch this. Let's take a quick break. I'd love to hear from you. The question I have for you is regarding President Biden and Vice President Harris. What's going on there? What do you think is really taking place there? Do you think that this is the Biden administration? Is this, as they have put on their website, the Biden-Harris administration? Or there's a lot of people are suggesting that Barack Obama is the one who's kind of guiding this whole thing and they're following an Obama kind of plan. And, we didn't elect him for a third term. Can't. And that's the direction this is heading. And I guess the other question is, where is it going? Because this presidency doesn't feel like it will meet the ultimate traditional conclusion, which is in 2024, regardless of what Biden says, he runs again and it's the Biden-Harris ticket and they try to get 8 years. That just doesn't feel right to me. What about you? 314-241-9797. Give us a call and let us know what you think. We'll be right back.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
At your house, you're the ruler of the thermostat. And Ameren Missouri is giving you the power to save with a $0 smart thermostat while supplies last. Find terms at amerenmissouri.com/save now. Taxes and enrollment and peak time savings apply.
According to the National Institutes of Health, 30% of hospital admissions in older adults are drug-related, like taking meds at the wrong time. Hero Health simplifies medication management. The smart device stores up to 90 days worth of up to 10 different pills. It dispenses them at the push of a button. Try Hero risk-free for 30 days and get free contactless delivery. Just call 800-420-7550. That's 800-420-7550. 800-420-7550. Hero, medication managed.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit beefy, or even with type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Affordable term life insurance is out there. Call Term Provider and speak with Big Lou at 800-481-1458. 800-481-1458 or visit biglou.com. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too.
Thomas Helbig and the Retirement Advisory Group, waiting for your phone call for you to join so many other Annie Fry Show listeners who have trusted Thomas Helbig, who has been with 97.1 for years and years, to help people exactly like you feel confident about going into retirement. For retirees, for pre-retirees, 35 years Thomas Helbig has been with the Retirement Advisor Group, helping people exactly like you understand your options when they leave a job or when they retire. If this suits you, you need to call 314-993-9494. That's 314-993-9494. A free, no cost, no obligation retirement review with Thomas Helbig and the Retirement Advisory Group. They are there to guide you through these crazy times that we're in right now and to make sure that all of the hard work that you've invested in yourself over the years, the decades potentially of saving and setting aside and sacrificing, that it's going to give you that peace of mind with a predictable income in your retirement. One more time, 314-993-9494, online at retirementkey.com.
First comes love. Then comes sparkle. And that's where Diamonds Direct comes in. Engagement ring shopping is so easy at Diamonds Direct. Step 1, choose your perfect diamond. At Diamonds Direct, you get access to one of the largest selections of certified diamonds in America, straight from the diamond cutters, every shape, every size, everyone handpicked for brilliance. Step 2, choose your setting, something unique, something that fits your style, your personality. Solitaire, halo, 3-stone, pave, channel set. And don't worry if you've seen it on Pinterest, we have it. From all the top designers and bridal jewelry. Step 3, relax. Your Diamonds Direct engagement ring comes with a free lifetime warranty. That's no charge ever for sizing, cleaning, and routine maintenance. And at every step along the way, you'll be treated with respect, with zero pressure, by experts whose only goal is to make you happy. So you'll be all set for step 4, the most important one. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion. Olive and 270 at City Place.
Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm here in St. Louis. I've been warning our clients that IRS employees are back at work since mid-July, and their collection efforts have ramped up. Well, sure enough, it looks like it's happening. So if you have unfiled tax returns, wage levies, bank levies, or tax liens, now's the time to call the Lance Drury Law Firm before the IRS calls you. Tax resolution plans are based off your current income. So if your current income is less than normal due to the COVID-19 pandemic, this is precisely the time for the Lance Drury Law Firm to help you. Your consultation is free, so don't put it off. The Lance Drury Law Firm focuses solely on tax resolution law. It's all we do. And if you have IRS problems, you have legal problems. Let us use our tax law resolution experience to guide you and work on your custom resolution plan. Call now. It's free and confidential. Call me, Lance Drury, at 314-260-6120 or go to Lance, D-R-U-R-Y law.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Weather plays havoc on the exterior of your home. That's why Banner Construction specializes in the best James Hardie fiber cement siding and Pella windows. James Hardie is unmatched for its weather resistance and beauty, and Banner Construction is a preferred James Hardie contractor, as well as a Pella Platinum contractor. Don't settle for less than the quality craftsmanship you get from Banner Construction. Visit them online or call 314-569-1050 and have a banner day.
Are you sick and tired of your janitorial company not meeting your expectations? Call Jan Pro of St. Louis, the commercial cleaning company you can count on. Have you had it with your cleaning guys not showing up? Call Jan Pro of St. Louis to get the job done. The Jan Pro cleaning and disinfection process guarantees satisfaction for a wide range of industries and budgets through quality, technology, and a measurement for a consistent clean every time. Tired of no follow-up? Call Jan Pro of St. Louis, 314-989-9977. Trusted clean guaranteed.
The latest local forecast and severe weather coverage you can count on from the name in St. Louis weather.
This is 97.1's Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
On 97.1 FM Talk. Powered by Air Comfort Service.
More people are seeing that, affordable childcare is a big deal. More parents are seeing the value of educators when they had to bring their kids and said, we're not paying them nearly enough.
It's just weird. It's uncomfortably bizarre. Why? Is there context to this that we're missing? I'm open to the fact that maybe somebody was on stage tickling her or something, and I just haven't seen the video.
No, that was not happening.
Have you seen the video, Katie?
I have seen the video.
Oh man,
and
it would have been way better for my story if you just confidently said that without any facts.
No, I saw the video. That's where I pulled it from.
I'd like to play a game of who would it be on stage tickling her to make her laugh like this, but I'm not going to go there. You know, my 4-year-old, her most favorite thing in the world is to be tickled. Most people, I mean, I hate the thought of it. I go straight to violence. If somebody comes up and tries to tickle me, I'm punching you. Mm-hmm. And you started it, so that's on you. I remember when I was a kid, and when your dad would pin you down and tickle you till you peed your pants, basically. I don't really like that. And my 4-year-old daughter, when she sees her grandpa's, it's like you run up and she's just like, tickle me, and she's just so excited. And she was sitting in my lap the other day, and I said, Evelyn, why do you like to be tickled so much? Like, do I need to talk to you about how this is self-torture? I'm trying to understand her. She's like, I just really like to giggle. And I was like,
oh, beautiful.
Okay. I love to hear your giggle. But she just will run up. Her favorite thing in the world is to be tickled. And it's so uniquely innocent and adorable. And I don't know how long I get to keep that bottled up.
The people have, you know what? Some people tickle really hard. Like, it's not fun, and it doesn't it hurts. And you're trying to be nice. Like, oh, okay. Like, whenever I was little and someone would tickle me, I'm like, wait, this doesn't feel good. This is
painful. Yeah.
So please just stop.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of it, but I also am not like a touchy-feely kind of person, so that's probably not surprising.
Right.
When you listen to Kamala Harris reacting like that, again, like I said, I'm open to the context that exists where someone can go, well, this is why she was laughing. And I go, oh, because she was being tickled on stage and I couldn't see the video. There's not really a context that I'm thinking of right now that makes the consistency of this reaction as if she completely doesn't take these questions seriously. And it's to her, it's kind of laughable that you would even have to ask this question of her. In this case, she's essentially saying that parents are starting to actually see that we need to pay educators more money than what they're being paid. I'm married to an educator. You don't need to pay educators more money. You need to pay good educators more money. You need to change the system that exists right now that encourages, not to say that it produces this in every case, but it certainly can produce a level of mediocrity because there's no competition in that arena for teachers to get the value of the effort that they put into it. I don't really blame teachers terribly for being invested, getting tenure, doing the same thing for 10 or 20 years, and nothing ever changes. There's no possibility for some big promotion. You're on a step system. There is a graph that tells you what you will be making 10 years down the road based on your education and your time served. It's just a guarantee. That's the sweetest deal. I mean, folks, I don't know how your setup is, but here in radio, let me tell you how it isn't. Let me tell you how it exists to work in an industry where you've got to bust your butt and work your tail off every day in hopes that in a year your job still exists. There's no guarantee. There's no pension. There's no retirement plan that's done for you, that's funded for you. That's for darn sure. It's on you. And radio is not unlike basically the entire private sector. When I say this story to you, I'm not telling you that radio is a bad gig. I'm telling you it's reality. This is the way it is for people. How many folks out there right now outside of public service still have the benefit of a pension? That's gone by the wayside. If you're in a private union, you might. If you're in some type of labor union that is privately funded, that might be a different case. But for the majority of private sector workers, it's really up to you to invest in yourself, to sacrifice now, and to reap the benefits of it down the road when you choose to start withdrawing from that. Not only does the system that exists right now with the way we pay our educators not incentivize bad teachers to be better, it doesn't incentivize good teachers to stay where they are or to share what makes them good with other teachers, because we don't pay good teachers for being good. We pay them for showing up the same way we pay bad teachers for showing up. And in many cases around this country right now, they're not even being asked to show up and teach these kids in person because the unions are holding that back. I know a lot of teachers who work across the country who, for their own sake, because their ability to educate in many cases relies on their ability to look at a child in their eyes and understand when that student is getting it and when they're not getting it. And you cannot do that in a Zoom meeting. You just can't. And these teachers want to go back, but the unions are saying no. Why is it that we can educate? Why is it that we can educate relocated unaccompanied minors who come into this country to San Diego and teach them in person and not our own kids?
Wild.
Well, I mean, in what reality do we exist where apolitical, non-political, non-Biden people, non-Trump people can look at that and go, well, that makes sense. I mean, how much of what we're looking at right now, you just look at it and you go, this makes no sense. It's the entire COVID reaction at this point doesn't seem to have consistency or make sense.
And yet the person that's always getting attacked is Ron DeSantis for opening things up, for allowing kids to go back to school, for doing it right and still having low COVID case numbers. He is always in the public eye, and everyone but Fox News is like, screw this dude, basically.
Except for the fact that they're all moving to Florida.
Yep.
I mean, he's kind of getting to call scoreboard. Listen to
If
Dr.
parents
Fauci
are
here.
vaccinated, they still do need to be concerned about their unvaccinated children playing together in groups. Is that right?
Yeah, the children can clearly wind up getting infected. When we talk about what you can do when you're vaccinated, you can certainly have members of a family, if the adults are vaccinated, and you're in the home with your child, you don't need to wear a mask and you can have physical contact. When the children go out into the community, you want them to continue to wear masks when they're interacting with groups from multiple households.
I'm sorry, Dr. Fauci. No, not for my kids. My kids have been in the classroom for the duration of this school year. They wear masks in the classroom. They have, specifically my daughter's class is, I think they've got 25 kids in it. And they had to move them to a different room in the building because the class was so large. They wanted to socially distance them. They've implemented the things that have been asked of all of us to make it so that these kids can be in the classroom, and it's been fine. There have been kids over the course of time, not very many, who have gotten COVID. They didn't come into contact with other kids at school because the people who are sending their kids to school understand the measures that are being asked of them. And kids have been in the classroom. There's nothing special about my child or my children that makes them deserving of being in the classroom, that makes any other student across this country less deserving. There's nothing. The only separation is I have chosen to pay tuition to put my kids in a Lutheran school. Not necessarily, the reason they're there is not so they can be in person. The reason they're there is because they talk about Jesus. That's important to my house. And for my kids to learn that. That's why they're there. And I got to say, if I had my kids in public school and they were learning remotely, I'd be looking for a place that I could put them in that was in person. But because I have figured out the means to make that happen, because the fruits of my labor have permitted my kids to be blessed with this opportunity, it seems so bass-ackwards to limit the people who don't have those funds and don't have the ability to bless their kids with some sort of parochial or private education from being able to be in classroom. And who's the party that's keeping that from happening? Who is creating a greater divide in the education of our children in America right now than these government, drunk on government, controlling politicians who want to tell me, Dr. Fauci is telling me how my kids are going to play with other kids? I'm sorry. Dr. Fauci, you have crossed the line. That is not going to happen in my house. And I appreciate the suggestion, but no. I will make that decision. I spend time with families who are careful and concerning about the situation at hand. We don't pretend it doesn't exist. But we're going to be able to come together without masks, and we're going to be okay with that. But at the same time, Dr. Fauci and the politicians, Joe Biden, I think I have it here, maybe, Joe Biden, who's begging people to continue to do their duty for the country.
The failure to take this virus seriously, precisely what got us to this mess in the first place, risk more cases and more deaths. Look, as I do my part to accelerate the vaccine distribution and vaccinations, I need the American people to do their part as well. Mask up. Mask up. It's a patriotic duty.
No, sorry. And here's one other thing he needs people to do.
Mr. President, do you believe that some states should pause their reopening efforts?
Yes.
Sorry, I'm going to Florida because Ron DeSantis is willing to put the responsibility. No, let me rephrase that. He's not willing to take the responsibility from you to manage your own life, to make your own decisions, to participate in what we all know that is here. We understand the circumstances of this disease, this virus that is out there, and we are making accommodations. We are making decisions based on our own personal circumstances. Just read that 80% of COVID, I think it was COVID deaths involved obesity. Why is there not a rabid public messaging system out there right now to push out against obesity? Why isn't there? Because that would be unwoke. And it's one of the biggest factors in how you are going to be affected by this virus. They pick and choose. They want to control your life. It doesn't have to be a zero-sum game. You can make common sense decisions for yourself based on your circumstances, based on the circumstances of the people around you. And this would be the first time in my lifetime where the entire country would just be sitting around waiting for some government official to tell you what you're going to do next and just blindly obeying it. Good to see Ron DeSantis speaking up against this. And I just don't understand the Kamala laughter. I don't get it. I'm going to start just anytime somebody asks me a hard question, I'm just going to start laughing.
Please,
will it work for me?
I guess we'll see.
Yeah.
To each their own.
All right, let's take a quick break. Tony Colombo is going to join us in just a minute with Signs of the Apocalypse. We'll be right back.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Fry Show.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studio. Get ready for spring with a maintenance agreement from Air Comfort Service. Visit their Facebook page each week in March to enter to win a free HVAC maintenance plan for a year. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
A reading from the Golden Oak Lending Book of Mortgage Lingo.
What is a cash out refi? It's using the equity in your home to pay off high interest credit cards.
Paid it off! Yes!
I'm James Hawkins, president of Golden Oak Lending. With mortgage rates at a record low 1.875%, you can save hundreds each month and skip your next 2 payments. You'll pay nothing out of pocket, and we never charge for a home appraisal if we can't close your loan. And remember, our local lending experts speak mortgage and love translating for our customers. Eliminating debt means putting your dreams back on the table today.
Updated bathroom?
Updated bathroom and a pool table?
Don't push it, Rick.
Get started with our fast and easy zipline tool at goldenoaklending.com.
NMLS 114937, 1.875% fixed, 2.913% APR. FHA 15-year mortgage with 20% equity and approved credit. 111 Westport Plaza, St. Louis, Missouri.
Odyssey is your home for all the sports you love, all the baseball. Go beyond the diamond with in-depth coverage of your favorite team. The top sports stations across the country have exclusive team interviews, game coverage, and predictions for the 2021 season from local team insiders. Check out Big Time Baseball, an Odyssey original podcast, and fuel your fandom only on Odyssey. All the baseball you love. It's all here, live and on demand. AUDACY. Odyssey.
Selecting a financial advisor is one of the most important decisions you will make heading into retirement. Hi, I'm Bob Stockdale, Senior Vice President Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money every Saturday morning at 11 on 97.1 FM Talk. Choosing a financial advisor is a critical step in planning for your retirement. You want to find an advisor you can trust is working in your best interest with the experience to do the job well. Providing guidance solely in your best interest is foundational to our team's approach. And with over 90 years of combined experience, you can have confidence we have the depth of knowledge to help you navigate important financial decisions. If you're retiring in the next 5 years or need a second opinion on your current plan, contact us today for a free consultation. To schedule your free retirement planning consultation, contact us at bobstockdale.com. That's bobstockdale.com. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE.
Do you promise to love, honor, and cherish, forsaking all others?
I do.
I do.
And now, by the power vested in me, I now pronounce you roommates. Go forth.
That's not the vow you took. But if struggles with CPAP have you and your spouse sleeping in separate rooms, it might be time to look into Inspire. Inspire works inside the body with just the click of a remote. That's right, just a button. No mask, no hose, just sleep. Inspire. Sleep apnea innovation.
Talk to your doctor to see if Inspire is right for you. Review important safety information at inspiresleep.com.
Radio.com is now Odyssey. Download the Odyssey app and listen to the Mark Cox Morning Show, plus all the news, sports, music, and podcasts that move you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
We've come a long
have to celebrate you, baby. I have to praise you like I should.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. Thanks for spending some time with us today, this Tuesday afternoon. We're grateful that you're here. A reminder that you can join us on our live broadcast also online. If you're not with us at 97.1 FM Talk, you can check us out on our Annie Fry Show Facebook page or the Annie Fry YouTube page, where you can see all of our faces, including Tony Columbus. Hi, Tony. How are you?
Hello, everyone. How are you?
Doing fine. What's on your shirt there? It looks like a very festive shirt.
Yeah, this was a couple weeks ago. I'm glad you asked. Thank you. A couple weeks ago, my daughter had competed in her first ever state gymnastics championship.
That's a big deal. How'd she do?
She qualified for it. It was her first ever one. She did okay. She did pretty good in her main event, which is the bars. But you could tell that she was a little nervous about having her first state championship competition. She didn't perform quite as well as she has in past meets. But
as a parent,
a great learning moment.
And a former athlete yourself, how important is that moment where she goes to compete and, you're not expecting her to she's not going to bring home an Olympic gold medal or anything here. You can.
Well,
you can
that's kind of that's my expectations every time out. I mean, it's gold or go home. I mean,
okay, let's get your wife on that. When you look at her and you want to just rip the anxiety away and just be like, go, you got this, just do your thing. But because you are a former athlete yourself, that you can't, the nerves is why you train. So that you can perform with the nerves. What's it like as a dad watching that?
It's nerve-wracking. I'd much rather be competing than watching.
I would much rather you be competing on the bars as well.
The bars are so hard.
That's her thing. That's her thing. I mean, she's got an excellent floor routine also, but she's always been really good at the bars. And it was such a big deal. We were so focused on qualifying to get to state championships that I think once we got there, and then it was only a week later, it was all this build up to qualify, and then boom, she killed it at the qualifying meet. Just did excellent. Took home a gold medal and a silver medal at that meet.
Maggie, wow.
And then just I think got there and was like,
psyched
whoa,
out.
Yeah, this is something else. So, but
did you guys?
She definitely didn't do bad. I don't want to make it sound like she did bad. She did really good. She just didn't. You could just tell that.
Yeah,
there was a lot of nerves.
Big stage.
Absolutely. But it was
big
super
stage.
fun. Yeah.
Did any of you ever take gymnastics at any level, even at 3-year-old tumbling?
I did.
Yeah,
I was in gymnastics until I was 8, and I didn't do anything like what Maggie is doing, but I hurt myself on the balance beam. And after that, I was like, no, that's not happening ever again.
What'd you do, Ryan?
I did it when I was 4, and then I decided that I was too good for it.
I never took gymnastics, but I am a very naturally gifted gymnast.
Oh,
I mean, you're flexible.
Your wife is a dancer.
She is.
So do you fight over who Maggie gets her gymnastic talent from?
No, we have never had that argument.
Did you hear that uncomfortable laughter? It sounded a lot like Kamala Harris. I'm just going to say, I think he felt uncomfortable with that question. Let's do signs of the apocalypse.
Now, signs of the apocalypse on the Annie Fry Show.
You can do the splits, Tony.
I sure can.
Mm-hmm.
Still?
I can do, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I can do a mean toe touch where you jump up and do the splits in midair.
It takes very little to get him to do it. He's
talented.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a show off.
Richard on Facebook says BS.
Oh, yeah? Well, yeah. Richard, maybe we'll give you a treat someday. It's been videoed many times.
I've actually videoed it myself.
This is
backstage one time.
Right. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. We were backstage at an event.
It was an Illinois policy event.
You were speaking at a real
Facebook Live
person's event.
Yeah.
And I was backstage doing the splits.
We were talking about the
Live.
Illinois economy on the front of the stage, but backstage, Tony was like, watch me do the splits. Look at this.
That's funny. I forgot about that.
I think you pulled something.
Oh, I'm sure. I always think that when I do it, I always think it could be the last time. Like when you go down,
might as well video it.
You go down, you're never sure you're going to get back up. This story is terrible. It's terrible. We're having fun, but this story is awful. So we've been talking about these pandemic virtual court appearances. Remember the surgeon, the plastic surgeon that was mid surgery and he went into the courtroom, and then like in I think the state of Florida, they had to put out a release to all virtual court appearances because people were like showing up for court with no shirt on.
Oh my! Shows you how
right
uncommon common sense.
This brings the whole thing to a new level. So let's see. Virtual court hearing for assault in South Dakota was postponed last week when the judge found out the defendant was in the same home as the victim during the trial.
What?
So yeah, the person
for assault.
Yes, the person who was being charged with assault was in virtual court
in
their home.
It's coming from inside
with the victim in the home as well. So the victim, who is supposed to be testifying against the alleged assaulter, is standing next to the alleged assaulter in a home.
Seems like that would be problematic.
Yes. So he seemed to be intimidating. The story says that the trial was postponed when the judge found out the defendant was in the same home as the victim and seemed to be intimidating her into not telling the truth.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
That is horrible. That is horrible.
Can we go back to court, please, now?
What?
Can we put on our masks and social distance?
Yes.
And let people go back to court for these kinds of things instead of having victims and in the same home as their accuser?
Gosh.
Yeah, that is ridiculous. Now let's have a little bit of fun. Oscar Mayer is releasing shoelaces that smell like bacon.
Oh.
You get all that?
My shoelaces right now don't smell
See?
like anything.
The signs of the apocalypse can go. There's many signs of the apocalypse. Serious ones like assault victims being in the same home as their accuser at trial, and Oscar Mayer releasing shoelaces that smell like bacon. Yes. Oscar Mayer just announced they're going to be giving out shoelaces that smell like bacon. The shoelaces also look like strips of bacon.
Oh.
If you're interested, you can enter by tweeting the hashtag Oscar Mayer cook my kicks. Okay.
Just imagine that savory bacon smell paired
This
with
is not a good picture, but I will try to show you on the
shoe
camera.
stink.
Yeah, stinky feet.
Dude, dogs are not going to leave you alone.
This was made by a dog.
This was
The
made
dog
by a
was
dog,
like,
Katie.
"Arr, arr, arr."
Yep.
Wow. What
in the room
just happened? How
It
was the
made
dog?
by a dog. I know.
What kind
it
of dog was that?
And how did the dog
Flash
communicate?
otter.
How did
Probably
the
a
dog
little
communicate
smart.
the instructions for this?
That's what happened.
Didn't we used to have an otter thing? I don't remember what it was. Did you make an otter noise once, Katie?
Maybe. Gosh.
Tony, does that sound familiar?
It does sound familiar.
I don't know why. Somebody tell us if you've been listening long enough.
I
There's
once
something
upon a
about an otter.
Not to be outdone by Oscar Mayer releasing their shoelaces that smell like bacon, Kellogg's is bringing back straws that make your milk taste like cereal. Now, it says bringing back. I don't remember this.
Yeah.
But
that's
apparently it was something that happened between the years of 2007 and 2009.
So you could just put a straw in your glass of milk and it
Yes.
tastes like cereal milk.
Yes, that's yes. And the
I don't
two
remember
flavors.
Kellogg's doing that, but I have had straws that do that, and they're pretty good. Like they last for 1 cup of milk, and then the flavor's gone.
And then do you eat it? I'm being serious because it says they're edible straws.
They're edible. Okay.
Oh no, the ones I had you didn't eat.
So
They just
it
made
says
the
Kellogg's
milk-
just announced they're bringing back their cereal straws, which are edible straws that make your milk taste like different cereals. Originally, the straws came out in 2007 and were discontinued in 2009. The two flavors that are being released now, they will go on sale this fall, are Fruit Loops and Cocoa Krispies.
Oh, Cocoa Krispies.
Okay.
Oh,
Also
my
known
All
as
right.
chocolate milk.
Yes.
Touch the nerve with the Cocoa Krispies.
Is drinking Cocoa Krispies milk any different than drinking chocolate milk? Would you be able to tell the difference?
I don't think you'd be able to tell the difference,
Yeah.
but man, do I love Cocoa Krispies.
And then you can eat the straw.
That's what I thought we were in a push to get rid of straws, but now that I know that they're edible, now that they're edible,
right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Vicky on Facebook says, I pour out my cereal milk. So that sounds gross to me. I think you're missing out, Vicky.
yeah, I think you're missing out too. Depending on what cereal. Well, I don't know about that. I can't think of a cereal that makes bad milk.
I don't think
Chex.
Fruit Loops. I don't think Fruit Loops has a good cereal.
You know what? I take that back. Any cereals that I eat that make bad cereal milk.
Life. Is that one of them?
Sticking with the food here, Heinz just can't stop making condiment mashups. Remember they made like they have the mayo chup.
Yeah.
And they've been doing these things. I think there's ones with sriracha. Well, anyway, Heinz has now announced new mashups. Ranch and
jalapeno.
It's
spelled J-A-N.
Hot sauce. Hot sauce and ranch is hanch.
Hanch.
Wasabioli? I think it's wasabioli.
Aioli and wasabi.
Garlic aioli and wasabi.
That doesn't sound good.
No.
No.
And tarchup.
Tartar sauce
and
ketchup.
Yeah, tartar
that
and
wouldn't
ketchup.
be bad. I'd eat that.
On your fish?
Yeah, that'd be good. Combo sounds fine.
The dog came in and was like, "Roo, roo." And I was like, oh, bacon flavored shoelaces. Got it.
Mark Cox will clean this up in just a minute. Trust me. Don't worry.
Got Medicaid? Got Medicare? Get more benefits. A dual special needs plan from United Healthcare gives you dental coverage, prescription drug coverage, prepaid debit card to buy over-the-counter products in store or for home delivery, plus additional credits to buy healthy food at many retailers and much more. If you have Medicaid and Medicare, there's more for you. Call 1-877-777-6919. That's 1-877-777-6919. Benefits and features vary by plan/area. Limitations and exclusions apply.
Would you like something beautiful you can wear every day? How about fine jewelry that'll add color and sparkle to your Zoom calls? Come to Shane Company and check out all our gorgeous new spring styles. Add an update and bring some cheer to your spring wardrobe. We have so many new looks to choose from. We're especially excited to introduce jewelry in trending new materials, like our 14-karat gold hoop earrings with colorful enamel accents. Our mineral charms are designed to really highlight the beauty of the natural stones. Choose black onyx or green malachite. Layer them with our 14-karat gold chains to create an on-trend look. When it comes to the classics, we're experts. For generations, we've been perfecting these styles, like diamond stud earrings, tennis bracelets, 14-karat gold bangles, cultured pearl jewelry, and more. Visit us today and get something delightful for yourself.
Now you have a friend in the jewelry business. Shane Company and shaneco.com.
If you're searching for a new vehicle, I want you to check out CassensCan.com. That's CassensCan.com. Cassens is the place to go when you want to trust the people who you're purchasing from. And I'm talking long term as well. There are a lot of generational buyers. People often go back to Cassens to buy their next vehicle a few years after they've made the purchase. And they realize that the people at Cassens know how to treat customers right. Obviously, right now, they have big savings going on. The employee pricing sales are in effect right now, and you can partake in that when you go to Cassens. But regardless of the time, the month, the promotion that's taking place, the staff is what really sets Cassens apart, because this is a very big purchase, and you want to know that you can trust the people that you're making this purchase from. Cassen has achieved the highest level of Customer First Award for Excellence by J.D. Power. I have felt it myself, bought multiple vehicles, driving my current 2020 Chrysler Pacifica and loving every minute of it. They guided me through the process, and I'm grateful for it. And I hope you give them that chance as well. CassensCan.com.
The only way to fix the American economic situation is the redistribution of wealth. Mark Cox claims to have the solution to this by giving you a chance at $1,000 just after the news at 7 and 8 a.m. and then again from noon to 5. But he's doing it without government intervention.
Bernie, that's why it's beautiful.
Cross your arms, put on your mittens, and do not listen at the
KFTK FM Florissant, driven by the Bomarito Automotive Group, 97.1 FM Talk.
An Odyssey station.
More study needed. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. That's the consensus after a new report from the World Health Organization on the origins of COVID-19, saying it's likely the virus went from an animal to humans and not likely it came from a lab in Wuhan. But the investigators and more than a dozen countries, including the U.S., are raising concern about the level of cooperation and data from China. The White House urging a second stage in the study process. Meantime, more time for small businesses to seek pandemic relief.
The president will sign the Extension Act into law. We want small businesses to know that help is here, and they now have until May 31st to apply.
Spokeswoman Jen Psaki also highlighting the efforts to keep expanding access to COVID vaccines. Day 2 of testimony in the trial of ex-Minneapolis cop Derek Chauvin, with a key witness taking the stand. Fox's Gernal Scott has this live.
Lisa, the witness, a minor who recorded the widely seen video of Chauvin's knee on George Floyd's neck, told prosecutors Chauvin maintained pressure even after EMS arrived.
He was still there, even when they came, even at the end, even unresponsive.
Defense attorney Eric Nelson sought to establish that the recording only captured George Floyd on the ground, not what led to it.
And anything that happened prior to that, you wouldn't be privy to or know what happened, right?
Correct.
The witness testified the only violence she saw was from officers, not George Floyd, whom she described as suffering. Lisa.
Thanks, Gernal. Former President Donald Trump could face questioning under oath about sexual assault allegations made by a former Apprentice contestant, Summer Zervos. Evidence gathering in her defamation case has been on hold after the then president asked New York's highest court to declare the presidency protected him from being sued in state courts. The Court of Appeals tossing that out as moot today now that he's out of office, allowing the case to return to trial court. America is listening to Fox News.
Drowning in IRS debt? If you can't afford to pay your IRS debt due to economic hardship, you can now be free of IRS collection efforts by taking advantage of a special IRS tax hardship program. This program allows Americans who owe the IRS to resolve their delinquent tax debt once and for all. In some cases, maybe even reducing what you owe significantly. An open phone line has been established by Community Tax for consumers to call and see if they qualify. Simply dial 800-229-4150 if you owe back taxes to the IRS and cannot afford to pay them back or have years of unfiled tax returns. Help is standing by. Just call the Community Tax Helpline today at 800-229-4150 for the help that you need. Don't take on the IRS alone. They can attack your wages, savings, pension, home, and even your Social Security check. Call 800-229-4150 to see if you qualify. That's 800-229-4150.
Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Weather with Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Clouds continue to increase. It's windy, maybe a shower late this afternoon, but it's mild, 72 for the high. Much better chance of showers, let's say up until about midnight tonight, but most of the rain will be during the evening hours, clearing skies after midnight. It's chilly, 38. On Wednesday, partly sunny, windy and chilly, 49, but feels colder. Chance of some spotty frost anyway, and 29 degrees Wednesday night. This is 97.1 FM Talk, Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
It's time for a redistribution of wealth.
Mark Cox style, Bernie. $1,000 is on the line. Want to win?
This hour's keyword is boat. Text the word boat to 72881 by the end of the hour for your chance to win $1,000. That's boat to 72881. Message data rates apply. Don't text and drive. This is a national contest. Again, that word is boat to 72881.
Tony La Russa here. Men, are you running out of stamina rounding third base? If so, call my friends at Victory Men's Health in O'Fallon, Illinois. Scoring at home is important, just as important as crossing the plate with the winning run. VictoryMen'sHealth.com.
The Med Spa at the Institute of Natural Health understands how difficult it is to maintain healthy skin and how much this can affect someone's life. With the right combination of treatments and products, they can help you keep your skin looking healthy and more youthful, while also reducing and preventing damage. Take your first step towards healthy skin at the Med Spa at the Institute of Natural Health. Visit them at inhstl.com or call to schedule at 314-293-8123. That's 314-293-8123.
Everybody wants the economy to grow, right? But how do you feel about officials in effect giving your tax money to developers for their private projects? In the past 15 years, the city of St. Louis alone has diverted $709 million to developers in tax subsidies or abatements. That was money that would have gone to basic services like schools and public safety. Even worse, numerous studies around the country show these kinds of subsidies don't produce the promised jobs and growth. There's nothing wrong with developers wanting to build new shopping centers or company headquarters, but why should they get tax subsidies to do so? If it's a good business idea, great, but let them assume the risks as well as any possible rewards. It's time to reform economic development subsidies in Missouri. Learn more in our 2021 Missouri Blueprint, moving Missouri forward at showmeinstitute.org. The Show Me Minute has been brought to you by Show Me Institute and Show Me Opportunity.
Stewart's American Mortgage is home of the bagel loan, and when you use the bagel loan with Stewie, is the only place you can get it, for a home purchase, he's lowered the minimum amount of your loan to $200,000. So if you're taking out a loan of $200,000 or more, you are going to get to enjoy the benefits of the bagel loan at Stewart's American Mortgage. No lender fees. That's always been the case with the bagel loan, but he's added in no closing costs right now, no title fees, no cost at all. Stewie is doing the bagel loan for $200,000 loans plus, and this is the cheapest way to go about doing this. Interest rates are at historic lows. The interest rates are going to be as low as you're going to get anywhere else, but he is going to make sure that you get into that loan for the most cost-effective way that you can do it in the area. Missouri, Illinois, both sides of the river. Call my friend Stewie and get started on your bagel loan process today. For your home purchase, for your refinance, you will not be disappointed. 314-324-4440. That's 314-324-4440. StewartsAMC.com. You can find them online. NMLS number 226715.
Move into your new dream home without leaving your old one. When you hire the professionals at CertaPro Painters, painting is the perfect way to renew and refresh the home you love. You can trust the proven experts at CertaPro Painters to handle every detail. Worry-free from start to finish. Painting inside or out, you deserve service you can count on. Get your project started today with a free estimate at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated.
Radio.com is now Odyssey. Download the Odyssey app and listen to The Mark Reardon Show, plus all the news, sports, music, and podcasts that move you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
The Annie Fry Show is sponsored by Forensic IT, the tech experts that find the root cause of your technical problems. ForensicIT.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
Right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
I think that this thinking about the need to control, the need to, make sure that people stay in their place, so-called, has been, what has been basically what has happened in America for all of these years. And I think it continues in various ways, sometimes a little bit more sophisticated ways. But the police, I think, really believe, and in some ways are led to believe, that their greatest challenge and their greatest chore is to keep, Black people in their place.
Maxine Waters there saying some pretty heinous things, I would say, about the idea that we have a system that is encouraging people to stay in their place. My question for Mark Cox is, what areas across our country, including the California district that Maxine Waters represents, and if you didn't know, Maxine Waters is born in St. Louis, Missouri, and you look at the impoverished places across this country, who runs all of these districts that have kept people in their economic lot in life, in their place, according to Maxine Waters? Let's ask Mark Cox.
The conservative, so-called, is the one that says, less government, get off my back.
I'm the best there is at what I do. Blind dog-faced pony soldier.
I wouldn't make it a habit calling me that, son.
And that's the bottom line.
Mark Cox, the Mark Cox Morning Show with us, 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. right here on 97.1 FM Talk. wanted to pick your brain about this, because the idea that police are supposed to keep people in their position. I mean, I look at Democrats across this country, and I think they're the most guilty of it, at least from a long-standing, decades-long rule in places that don't ever seem to get better.
No, Annie, it's a victim mentality that is the approach of the left these days. There's always got to be a crisis. I heard somebody refer to it as dystopian. It's their dystopian point of view. Not very differently, in my opinion, than the way they're treating this pandemic now, when the CDC director is telling us she's in fear of a fourth wave, and the president wants mask mandates put back in place. What Maxine Waters is doing is no different. To control the people who follow her, she has to have them constantly perceive themselves as victims. People are not walking 1,500 miles from Guatemala to get into this country because the country holds them in their place. They're coming here because of the opportunity that exists in America. And so many Americans are raised to believe that that's not the case anymore. And, I know a number of immigrants who've come here, who've succeeded, who've lived the American dream. Try to argue that to them, and they're going to argue till they're blue in the face that they perceive America as the greatest place in the world where you have the most opportunity. And we got politicians in our own country telling people that's not the case.
Mark, do you view America right now as still, this shining light on a hill, still the place of opportunity that's kind of, even if our light has grown a little bit dimmer, that we're still the place? And do you consider the last 4 years, have we pushed back some of that government overreach that would be crowding that out?
Yeah, for temporarily, huh, Ryan? I mean, we see what's going on now. I mean, I don't know how anybody could argue that it's not. I worry constantly about the direction this country's going. I think that at some point we reach a tipping point. In some ways, we've approached that because we've already got more people who are takers than producers in this country. At some point, you find yourself like, I don't know, Greece, where they allow people to retire at 50 years old and start on the pension program, and there aren't enough people working to support the people that are on the dole in the country. Yes, to answer your question, yes, I do still believe this is a shining city on the hill, or you wouldn't have people waiting in line at the border to get in. And Joe Biden, of course, welcoming them and not even asking for a court date these days, apparently.
Jim Carafano, I'm sure you have conversations with him every week as well. He always says there's no border crisis if you don't believe in borders. Do you think that the situation at the southern border right now is by design?
I do. I do, from the standpoint of the folks who were screaming the loudest when Donald Trump had stemmed the flow. Every single person who's coming across that border is probably going to be on assistance at some point, at least initially. And that's not the way our immigration system was set up. I mean, look at Canada, for example, Annie. You can't, people don't make this comparison very often, but in Canada, you can go to college up there if you choose to. But when you graduate from college, if you want to get a job in Canada, there's a rule in their immigration system where you have to prove, the employer has to prove that there's not a living, breathing Canadian who would take the job before they can hire somebody who's a foreigner. And yet we're told that we have the worst immigration system, we're mean, we're uncaring. The United States is the most generous country in the world. So I can't understand what the other motivation would be except to create the crisis that we currently have, and try to somehow turn these folks into voting American citizens at some point who are beholden to the party that looks the other way. I don't know. I don't know how to reach any other conclusion because it's not a compassion issue. We have the most compassionate immigration system in the world.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. We're speaking with Mark Cox of the Mark Cox Morning Show, weekdays 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. right here on 97.1 FM Talk. I want to shift gears a little bit more locally. Some of the similar issues, you talk about on a national scale, we see them right here in St. Louis City. We see them in St. Louis County. Certainly, we see issues on both sides of the river about the role of government to play and the production, the success that the excessive amount of government that some of these different locations have. What kind of success does it bear? Now, the city of St. Louis has a choice to make here pretty soon, and I know you've been following the local politics here regarding the mayor, among other ones. What do you want people to know right now about what kind of decisions can be made for the betterment of St. Louis, and if there's anybody out there who's actually advocating for what St. Louis needs?
Yeah, I worry about that all the time, particularly with the direction, and I talk about this on my show quite a bit, the direction that they're taking in the city right now. I don't know which of the two candidates will get elected, but I'm not convinced that at this point that one is going to be any better than the other in terms of the direction that the city's going. Tashara Jones, right, is kind of represents the older style St. Louis politics, and everybody's familiar with her dad, Burvis Jones, and the role he played in the city for many years. And the newcomer is Kara Spencer, and she's one of the two most progressive left-wing politicians in the city of St. Louis. And they look at policing and how that's going to go, and they don't use the defund the police term anymore because they learned their lesson back in the fall. Now it's looking at ways to create efficiencies within the system, which is an interesting way of putting it. You're not defunding them. You're just figuring out a different way to police. And we've heard a lot of that out of Kim Gardner. So I don't know if I answered your question or not, but those are the things I worry about going forward in how they talk about change. But I don't think it's the change most people are expecting, at least at the city level.
Yeah, Mark, since we're talking about St. Louis, I live in Illinois. Annie lives in Illinois. So we don't live in the state of Missouri. But, man, if you travel outside of this area and somebody asks you where you're from, I'm from St. Louis. St. Louis is my city. That's what I say. And I'm sure Annie does the same thing. But, as we talk about a lot of times getting away from the bad policies of Illinois and things, I've cast a glance over the river a couple times myself and said, man, Missouri's starting to look pretty good. But as Missouri moves one direction and is really doing a lot of things right, you're right. The city of St. Louis seems to be doing the opposite and kind of shooting itself in the foot for a lot of people who are casting that eye, not just from Illinois, but from other parts of Missouri, saying, hey, Missouri's kind of looking like a place to be right now.
What do you do? The economic engine of the state is a combination of St. Louis City and St. Louis County. Earlier this morning, at some point, Beavis Schock, an attorney, held a news conference in the city talking about the fact that he's going to sue them because they're trying to keep people from getting their earnings tax back. I don't know if you guys have covered that yet or not today. The city derives 75% of 1/3 of its budget. If that makes sense. 1/3 of their budget is the earnings tax. About 75% of that total comes from people who don't live in the city, but who work in the city. And for those of us who worked from home some this year, in the past, you've always been able to file for a refund of a portion of your earnings tax, which is 1%. This year, the city, even though the law hasn't changed, the city has changed the rules to tell you can't do that this year, because they're scared to death that they're going to lose tens of millions of dollars if they have to refund money to everybody who worked from home. So there's an attorney who's suing as part of a class action lawsuit to try to get that money back from the city. That's a microcosm of some of the problems that we face in the city, which is cash starved, right? And they're running out of people to tax, and they're always looking somewhere else to get that. And that doesn't bode well for the economy in the city of St. Louis at all. And I think that's why people in that state, and it'll be an issue in this next Senate race, always look at the St. Louis region with a little bit of suspicion. And that's why candidates from St. Louis proper and St. Louis County don't always fare well in those statewide races.
Well, we'll be paying very close attention to all of that as it continues to develop, certainly by listening to your show weekdays right here on 97.1, the Mark Cox Morning Show, 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. You're covering all of the local stuff plus the national stuff and everything in between. And we're always grateful to have a conversation with you on Tuesday afternoons. Mark, thanks. Good to talk to you again.
Great stuff. Annie, thank you.
We'll talk to you soon. When it comes to those local mayoral races here and you're comparing the two, if you have nothing in common with the two people who are running, it can be very frustrating to pay deep, detailed attention to the future of the city of St. Louis, much like he was talking about with that city tax that people are looking at potentially recovering some of, because a lot of us did work from home. When you think about the economic engine of downtown St. Louis and how much it is funded by people who commute, it's a pretty big deal. And you know, one of the reasons why it's so frustrating to see the city so dead. I know, Katie, you've been going downtown this entire time, but the absence of life and entertainment and, you know, the other things that bring money into the city to help with issues and concerns and expand and improve, it's a big mess. There's a big mess on the hands of the city of St. Louis, among other places who are facing very similar things. Good to talk to Mark Cox there. Check him out online on his Twitter at Mark Cox 971. He's our Mark with a C. We've got Mark with a K who follows our show. I'm excited to dip into the Mark Reardon Show and listen in today a little bit, starting at 3 p.m. right after we get done here. I was off yesterday, and I'm just really excited that his show has started officially here on 97.1. And I encourage you, if you haven't listened to the Mark Reardon Show, you're going to want to do that. You just keep listening to the Annie Fry Show. Don't turn your radio off. It's really that simple. It's actually an act of passive. You can be as passive as you possibly want to and still listen to great radio all through the afternoon. Stick around. We'll do more Annie Fry Show here in just a minute. Follow us on YouTube, Annie Fry YouTube channel, the Annie Fry Show Facebook page. And now on Odyssey, it's our app that you can download. If you haven't downloaded it, radio.com has now become Odyssey. It is the new name of our company, and we are excited to be there. And we invite you, if you haven't done it yet, you're going to want to check out what Odyssey has to offer you. Just go into your app store and search Odyssey, Audacy. Quick break, back in just a minute.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show. Talk lines are open now at 314-241-9797 or 866-455-9797.
Whether you're an experienced sports bettor or someone who's just starting out, BetQL is here to help us become better bettors. Get access to data and insights the sportsbooks don't want you to see. Bet smarter and beat the books. Download the BetQL app or visit BetQL.com today.
The Missouri Army National Guard can help you get the education you need to land the career you've always wanted. The Guard will pay up to 100% of your tuition for up to 39 credit hours per academic year at 90 colleges and tech schools across the state. You're eligible as soon as you enlist. Learn more about the many benefits that come with serving part-time in the Missouri Army National Guard. Visit nationalguard.com today. Sponsored by the Missouri Army National Guard, aired by the Missouri Broadcasters Association and this station.
The different customer service benefits of shopping for your new flooring purchase at Michael's Flooring Outlet. There are just an amazing amount of those. And I want you to give them the opportunity to earn your business, because they're going to. Online at igotfloored.com. That's igotfloored.com. You can schedule a free in-home estimate when you reach out to them on their website through there, and you can see their different locations in St. Peter's and Darting Prairie and Creve Coeur. They have the best selection of products for you. When you walk into their store, you're going to see an amazing selection of products that are in stock. And here's the crazy part. They're ready for next day install. So if you know what you want and you want to make sure that you get a great quality product at a great value, you know you got to go to Michael's Flooring Outlet. Again, the website is igotfloored.com. Check them out there or visit them in St. Peter's, in Darting Prairie, or in Creve Coeur. igotfloored.com.
Hey guys, Glover here for my good friends, and they are my good friends, George and Mike, the owners of ThrottleNet, the IT place. Let me right out of the chute give you throttlenet.com/971, because I really think you're going to want to go at least check out the website. Here's the deal. They do comprehensive IT. They do everything from protection, from ransomware and phishing schemes, which, by the way, have gotten so much worse since most of our workers are working from home. It's so much easier to infiltrate your company through a home computer. We take care of all of that. We maximize your profits and we minimize your expenses through IT. The industry standard in St. Louis is 3 hours from the time you contact your IT provider and say, I've got a problem, it takes them 3 hours to get back to you. In 2020, the average for ThrottleNet was 1 minute and 57 seconds. I think that says a lot. We have continuing webinars going on. Check them all out at throttlenet.com/971.
Jewels on Hampton and St. Louis Hills is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, coins, flatware, and fine watches on site. Jewels on Hampton is a premier jeweler featuring Alvanza's jewel art designs with an exquisite selection of diamonds, semi-precious stone jewelry, and vintage watches. Their expert design team can restyle your jewelry to today's contemporary style. They also do jewelry and watch repair. Need extra cash? Jewels on Hampton is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, coins, flatware, and fine watches. Bring in your collectibles and clocks and sports memorabilia and figurines too. Jewels on Hampton, 4506 Hampton, just 3 blocks south of Chippewa, and jewelsonhampton.com. Call them at 314-752-5000, 314-752-5000, and jewelsonhampton.com. Jewels on Hampton.
Odyssey is the best way to power your day, giving you so many ways to stay connected to all the audio that matters to you, anywhere you are. At home, kick back and listen to Odyssey on your favorite home entertainment devices like Roku and Chromecast. And you can ask Alexa or Google to play your station hands-free. Listen in your car with the Waze app, Apple CarPlay, and more to stay connected on the go. Get your favorites on AUDACY. Discover a universe of audio everywhere. Odyssey.
Where the world, the country, and the community converge.
We're covering it all. We're covering the national stuff. We're covering the local stuff. We're covering what's happening in Jeff City. And that's important.
97.1 FM Talk. Free and fair.
Did you see the sky? I think it means that we've been lost. Maybe one last time is all we need.
I'm now hearing lunatics, and we call them lunatics, that are now, of course, still pushing back on the mask. But now we're saying that if we somehow have something that identifies us as having a vaccine, that we're like part of Satan or the mark of the the idiocy, our Nazi Germany, like the idiocy is just beyond us. They're acting recklessly and irresponsibly. They're being stupid. They're following conspiracy theories. They're following a failed a game show host or a reality TV host. And they don't understand, I guess, because maybe they're such morons they can't understand this. If I want to go to a baseball game with my son, who has a history of upper respiratory issues, I don't want a bunch of idiots sitting anywhere near us in Fenway.
So if you have a son who has an upper respiratory issue and you're going to take him into a crowded public place where you fear that if he were to contract COVID, it could be harmful to his life, who's the idiot? Everybody else around you, Joe Scarborough? Your concern here is how you control everybody else who moves around you while you go do what you want to do. I listen to these people and the persuasion tactics to come over to their side about these things. They're not the best. Calling people idiots and morons and explaining how stupid you must be if you believe anything other than what Joe Scarborough says. It's mind-blowing to me. I feel like there has to be a way to talk about these issues where we can talk about a son who might have an upper respiratory issue, and we can talk about a son who might have no particular issue, but maybe has had some mental stress on them that they haven't had for quite some time, and they want to go to a baseball game. Does one person's son require something more from the public than the other person's son? And who makes those decisions? Is it Dr. Fauci? Maybe it is. I'm so sick and tired of these people who have large platforms. Throw this back in my face. It'll probably happen. But these people who have these large platforms, you know, they have an opinion and they have a circumstance that maybe is personal to them. I don't know. Does Joe Scarborough have a son, let alone one who has an upper respiratory issue? I don't know. I don't want anything bad to happen to Joe Scarborough's son. I want Joe Scarborough's son to enjoy the freaking baseball game. If he wears a mask, I would think that would protect him. If the person sitting in the section next to him isn't wearing a mask, should they not be allowed to attend? Is there no personal decision making that goes into this? And also, when it comes to making these personal decisions, do we have to accommodate these public gatherings? Because listen, COVID's not the first virus that has spread across our country. It's not the first concern that we've had where it comes to, you know, I was kind of thinking about after September 11th specifically. I remember, let's see, what year did George Bush throw out the first pitch in Old Bush? I feel like it was maybe 2003. I'm not 100% sure, but I went to that game, sat in the second from the top row in Old Bush, which is really far away. And in April, really windy, kind of like yesterday was, cold. But I wanted to see this event where George W. Bush came to St. Louis, threw out the first pitch. It was important to me. I made it so that I could be there. And I remember seeing snipers that were positioned on the top of the stadium among how many other security measures when the president goes in front of 45,000 people to throw out a pitch standing on a mound in the center like a sitting duck. I remember it as far as being in a post 9/11 world, big crowded places to me seemed scarier post 9/11 than they did pre 9/11 because I thought, wow, look at all of the people here. This seems like it could be a target. It's just a new way of thinking post September 11th. And the reason why I bring that up is because post 2020 COVID, you know, we're into the vaccines and we're into a mentality more that involves opening up, except for the president of the United States. But anyway, we're getting to the point where we are starting to move out into the world. We're starting to do things more and experience normalcy once again. But just the visual of crowds together, people standing next to one another, it hits us differently than it did in 2019. Katie, that was one of your main concerns when you were talking about like just going out and being in bars again. It wasn't that you were worried about you particularly, but it's just, we haven't done this. It's been taken away from us. How's it going to look? How's it going to feel? Should I do this? Is it wrong for me to be seen doing this? There's a lot of questions that we have been made to ask right now that are concerning, and people care about these things. They're investing their time in it. Joe Scarborough has a different opinion on it. And then if you differ from him, you're a moron and an idiot.
Was it 2004, Annie?
Yeah,
George.
That could be. I was going to say, I guess 2003, but 2004 sounds about right.
So the thing that baffles me about that clip, that Joe Scarborough clip, that I had to grab for you, Annie, because this is a man that left the GOP, that left the party when Trump became president. And he specifically left because he hated Donald Trump, and there was no way getting around it. But why he hated Donald Trump is because he used bad language to talk about other people. And he did it. He hated Trump because Trump always called people morons or jerks, or he said he was harsh on the campaign trail. Mean tweets. He didn't, all of these things he hated about Trump. And while he was hating all of these things about Trump, he became that. And this is proof. Now and I know the people, Joe, that are listening to your show and watching you, they're not the people that you're targeting. They're not the people that you deem a moron or idiotic or ludicrous. We know that. We know who you're talking about. I just don't understand why we have people going on TV thinking that in any way, shape, or form is helpful. That is going to, that kind of language and the way and that kind of characteristic is going to help anyone or help their cause and say, get the vaccine. Why are we so afraid of the vaccine? Can't we all just get it? That's not helping anyone. That's not persuading anyone. And you hated that about Trump.
What if they're not trying to help anybody?
Yeah. That's
what if the point of doing that, any media that you consume, if it doesn't entertain you, it doesn't continue to exist. I have to do a show for you every day, and some days are a lot harder than others. This is actually kind of a hard day for me, coming off from a pretty stressful weekend for me personally, and having yesterday off. This is a hard day for me to figure out what's going on in the world. How do I deliver it to you? How do we have meaningful conversation that entertains you and keeps you here? Because, this is maybe a news flash to some people, but if you're not here, I'm not here. I am acutely aware of that situation. It's kind of it's a very, radio is pretty fantastic for the listener, because by virtue of the buttons in your car, you can make me poof go away at any given moment. And anytime I go, okay, there are people, if I mention, I'm going to lose 12 people now. If I mention Disney, there are 12 people who are going to turn the station off. If I get people who tell me, all you ever do is talk about your pregnancy, which is not true. That's not all I ever talk about. But if I mention pregnancy, there's another dozen people that just go away. There are people who love it when the three of us talk about marriage and kids and life, and they want more of that and less of the Biden-Harris administration. I have to figure out how to come to you every single day and keep as many of you here and ask you tomorrow to consider doing it again. It is an invitation from me personally to you, so that we can continue this relationship day after day after day. It's very important to me because it's how I put food on my table and diapers on my babies. This is my livelihood. But if I'm not entertaining, I could be super informative. I can think of, you can think of media outlets that are super informative and not entertaining. Like C-SPAN, that's super informative. And they do have some entertainment on there. They do have some shows, but for the most part, it's there to provide you information. And there are times where it becomes very, very helpful to have a C-SPAN around so you can get it straight from the horse's mouth, so to speak. But you have to ask yourself, when it comes to any show, any media that you consume, is the point to help? Is my point to help you? My point is to entertain you and to make you feel comfortable and familiar from noon to 3 here on the Annie Fry Show on 97.1 FM Talk. I want to develop a relationship with you where we can have conversations, whether we agree on issues or not, and be okay at the end of the day so we can do it again the next day. There are, it's my estimation that there are not a lot of people in media right now who are conservatives who take that approach. There's a lot of informing. There's a lot of, like kitschy nicknames for people and insults, and that appeals to a lot of people. It is a wildly successful industry, conservative talk radio. Thank you, Rush Limbaugh, in all sincerity. But what is the purpose of a Joe Scarborough? What is the purpose of a Sean Hannity? You have to ask it on both sides of the aisle. Media is meant to entertain. If we're looking at it expecting people to be helped and it's not happening, I don't know that necessarily indicates failure. It might just indicate a misunderstanding on the part of the consumer.
And does Joe Scarborough or Sean Hannity speak for every single person of that party? Because we tend to think that they do. But obviously Hannity doesn't speak for me or you two, and doesn't speak for everybody, but sometimes we like what he says. I think the same would be true of the left, of somebody like Joe Scarborough or Rachel Maddow, that sometimes if you're a leftist, you agree with them, but sometimes you don't. So I would hope that that's a hopeful thing, that we're not so monolithic that we agree with somebody just because they're on our side, but we're getting more and more that way.
I think, to that point too, I don't remember. I think it was Rachel Maddow's comment about Andrew Cuomo that we played a few weeks ago, saying like, this story is developing by the minute, basically. Like, there are accusations coming out of the woodwork right now about Cuomo, which is, not something that you expect Rachel Maddow to say. And we highlighted it as somebody who I don't watch Rachel Maddow. It doesn't serve any entertainment purpose to me. What is the opposite of entertainment? For me, it's the Rachel Maddow show. Yes. And I mean, I'll say this too. Like you point out, Ryan, Sean Hannity. I probably, I don't know if you could write down every point that he makes in an evening. I probably agree with most of them, but his delivery and demeanor is meant to entertain a specific audience. Sometimes I'm in that. Sometimes I'm not in that. Sometimes it's just, this is not the flavor of ice cream. This is mint chip for me. Like, it's better than eating actual mint leaf.
It's the next level.
But it's like maybe the lowest tier of ice cream flavor. Right, Katie?
Rude. So rude.
And here I was talking about how I don't name call and start trouble. Except for when it comes to ice cream flavors. There's just a different. I feel like we have to go in a different direction in news, entertainment media, or maybe entertainment news media. Maybe the entertainment needs to be boldly the first word in that sentence. Are we getting tired? Every day Katie pulls sound for me, and she's probably knows when she pulls sound for me which ones are not likely going to make the air. Like, you can put a Joy Behar clip on my cut sheet. I don't want to play it. Mm-hmm. And if I'm playing it, I've run out of things to talk about.
Noted.
And as well as, other specific people. And there are people on the left and the right that I feel that way about, because I know that the second I play AOC, I know everybody on both sides of the aisle. Everybody has an immediate automatic reaction to that. There's no thought that goes into it. It's reflexive. And I don't know that that's helpful. I'd love to hear from you. 314-241-9797. In these times, in these political times, whether you are the biggest fan of the Biden-Harris administration, or you are, Trumper all the way, or somewhere in between, I would like to hear from you to know how you prefer to consume this stuff, because it does become difficult for us from time to time to present you with information that we assume that you want to know, and to not do it in a way that makes me feel like I'm getting a club out every day and beating you over the head with things that make you want to, when you get done with that, beat your head into a brick wall. 314-241-9797. Let's take some phone calls when we come back.
The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe. Talk lines are open now at 314-241-9797 or 866-455-9797.
Anywhere you go,
you're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studio. Get in your comfort zone with 0% financing for 72 months and double Carrier Cool Cash rebates on qualifying equipment when you purchase and install a new HVAC system. For details, visit aircomfortservice.com.
Give your walls a new look and get 11% off all paint now at Menards. Zinsser Smart Coat is an advanced paint and primer in one. It features an ultra smooth coverage with an exceptionally washable finish. Pick up a gallon of flat paint for just $21.98 after 11% rebate. Get 11% off everything now at Menards. Good through April 3rd. Savings are a mail-in rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
save big money at Menards.
What's one of the main things you look forward to doing when you go out of town, whether it's a different part of the country, different part of the world? The local food. That's one of the best parts of visiting somewhere, is seeing what they do locally, because it's unique. It's fresh. That's what Andrea's Steak Sauce is to St. Louis. It's probably not the first one that comes to mind when you think of local cuisine. You think of frozen custard, toasted ravioli. But yeah, we have our own steak sauce here in St. Louis. It's Andrea's steak sauce. And it is unique. If you've never had it, it's a little bit different than maybe an A1 or something like that. It's one that you can really use to baste meat and make it better than you've ever tasted. And part of that is because it is made right here in Fairview Heights. It's that fresh. Use it on beef, pork. It's very, very versatile on many different types of foods, especially your proteins. You can get your own bottle at lots of the local grocery stores. Schnucks, Deerbergs have it, or you can order it, Andreas.com.
A reading from the Golden Oak Lending Book of Mortgage Lingo.
What is a cash out refi? It's using the equity in your home to pay off high interest credit cards.
Paid it off! Yes!
I'm James Hawkins, president of Golden Oak Lending. With mortgage rates at a record low 1.875%, you can save hundreds each month and skip your next 2 payments. You'll pay nothing out of pocket, and we never charge for a home appraisal if we can't close your loan. And remember, our local lending experts speak mortgage and love translating for our customers. Eliminating debt means putting your dreams back on the table today.
Updated bathroom?
Updated bathroom and a pool table?
Don't push it, Rick.
Get started with our fast and easy zipline tool at goldenoaklending.com.
NMLS 114937, 1.875% fixed, 2.913% APR. FHA 15-year mortgage with 20% equity and approved credit. 111 Westport Plaza, St. Louis, Missouri.
Do you promise to love, honor, and cherish, forsaking all others?
I do.
I do.
And now, by the power vested in me, I now pronounce you roommates. Go forth and...
That's not the vow you took. But if struggles with CPAP have you and your spouse sleeping in separate rooms, growing apart, and feeling more like roommates than loving partners, it might be time to look into Inspire. Inspire is the only FDA-approved sleep apnea treatment that works inside the body with just the click of a remote. That's right, just a button. There is no mask or hose and no need to sleep in separate rooms. If you are struggling with CPAP, great sleep awaits at inspiresleep.com. That's inspiresleep.com. Inspire. Sleep apnea innovation. No mask, no hose, just sleep.
Talk to your doctor to see if Inspire is right for you. Review important safety information at inspiresleep.com.
You know Diamonds Direct always has the best selection of precious diamonds. But right now, in the aftermath of 2020's challenges, it's better than ever before. Diamonds Direct stayed strong and aggressive, working with diamond cutters around the world, finding exceptional values. The result? A spectacular selection of new, rare, precious diamonds, offered at prices you never thought possible. We never let anything stop us from our mission to get you the diamond of your dreams. Diamonds Direct.
Afternoons on 97.1 start with the Annie Fry Show from noon to 3. And March 29th, the Mark Reardon Show 3 to 6.
Followed by a Dave Glover Show highlight hour at 6.
It's all on the number 1 talk station in St. Louis, 97.1 FM Talk.
And he knows it's gone. Don't wait for another. Falling he goes, and he cries all night. And slowly he thinks, can't wait for another. Tear in his soul. He screams inside, he says, I'm only, while I've gone away, only, every single day lonely. Well, I can't be so strong. Why don't you let me go? I've been in weakness and I'm home.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. It's funny to consider the way news media has developed over the course of the breakout of cable news television. You know, I guess it was the 90s. There's several different documentaries that are out there that are like by the decades. Have you guys ever watched any of those? Like, there's 1991, and then it gives you everything that took place in 1991 or whatever. I think Tom Hanks produced maybe one of those. Was really good. CNN did as well. Maybe Tom Hanks produced the one with CNN. But I enjoy watching those and just seeing the difference between the breakout of CNN and the 24-hour cable news option that is out there compared to now, where you can't really get away from the news at this point if you want. And we've blurred the line between what is entertainment and what is news. Like every time I get a Cardi B update or something like that, or a Nicki Minaj, those are the ones they're in my news feed all the time. I don't know. I mean, I read the headlines. I don't read the articles, but I don't read the articles all the time with things that they assume from an actual news standpoint are valuable to me. It makes me wonder if we are in a new shift of how people consume news and entertainment, and if you are really thinking about whether or not you're being entertained while you're taking in news. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Let's get to some phone calls here. 314-241-9797 if you'd like to join us. Mike is on the line. Mike, thanks for calling the show.
Hey, Annie, how you guys doing?
Doing okay, Mike.
I just wanted to chime in. Like, I think that in the direction that we've kind of been in, it's been dangerous. I watched yesterday, we were talking the issue with George Floyd and what was going on that issue. And I watched Tucker Carlson and I watched his show, and it just was a lot, talking about violence. And there seems to be a lack of empathy for everyone, that you can't really care for another human being if they're a Democrat, or you can't care if they're Republican or if they support. And given the history of our country, there's people who look for any reason to incite mob mentalities and they don't have good intentions. So we have to have some type of form of fact or some type of foundation. Orson Welles, people was panicked because they thought that we were being attacked by Martians. That's basic communication 101. And here it is now that people are willfully and able to spew out falsehoods to incite. And it's like, what happens when other people, they get mad and they get in their emotions and they may have their own biases and they decide to go and act on them? This has happened before, so I just really hope that our country takes a turn and not be as divisive. And, you don't have to like everything. Like, I talk to people every day I don't agree with, right? But that doesn't mean that I have to we're enemies. That doesn't mean that, that I have to hate you and call you names. Like, I don't raise my kids that way. So why do adults?
Yeah, there certainly isn't a lot of listening and actual hearing going on between any two people communicating with one another right now. And to your initial point there, depending anything that you consume as far as information, it's where did you get this first? Like, anytime anybody tells me anything, did you see the headline or did you see the story about this? My first question is always, where did it come from? Because if it comes from a Breitbart or a Vox, I know the context that I'm consuming. That doesn't mean that the headline is completely off the table for me, but we have to know so much about where the news is coming from before we can really flesh out for our own in our own adult brains what we think.
But who can we trust now? Like, who can we trust?
I think it's an unanswerable question.
You used to could believe in what you saw on NBC or CBS. You just can believe in the anchorman, and there wasn't their personal feelings. But now there's so much opinionated mantra, and it's so much hatred. Like, I've never seen so much name calling on TV from professionals. Like, it used to be that was the whole thing, but now it seems it's more opinionated and, meat, what is it called? Giving the red meat. So, I'm just, we're kind of in the pendulum right now. We have some cases that I hope that people just start not loving one another, but just practicing what we teach our kids. Like, I know we don't teach our kids this mess.
Yeah. Mike, thank you so much. What a great phone call. I appreciate you listening, for sure. We don't actively teach our kids this, but if we don't change it, we are passively teaching them that. We're, educating an entire generation. I mean, especially when you factor in the usage of social media and how flippant and fleeting anything that you put on social media, even a comment. Like, I read comments. I love reading comments on local news stories, whether it's local here in St. Louis or it's local news about big things from around the country. And just the things that people are willing to say, where you're actually kind of on a local news level commenting within your own community.
Mm-hmm.
And the gravitas of some of these people. It's just, we are very okay with saying horrible things to one another. Let's get Sherman here real quick before we get to a break. Sherman, thanks for calling the Annie Fry Show.
Oh, hey, how you doing?
Doing okay, Sherman. What do you think?
Well, I agree with the caller about everything he said. My comment doesn't have anything to do with that so much, but that gentleman sounds like he's a pretty smart guy.
I think so too.
But I was thinking about how they want to go after the guns that are killing all these people. How come the government don't take on the alcohol business? And there's certainly more people being killed by alcohol-related incidents than guns ever thought about killing people.
Sherman, thank you for the phone call. I appreciate it. It's a really interesting point because we actually have a test study in what happens when the government takes away alcohol. It doesn't go away. It just happens underground. And as far as guns go, you know, when we hear these, especially the people who are in the administration right now with their aggressive plan to enact gun reforms and gun control, you think you're going to take away all the guns and they're going to come off the streets and you're going to punish people if they break the laws. We've done that with drugs and it has not helped. We've engaged in a system where we control something. You know, I'm not saying that I'm for legalizing all these kinds of drugs, but you can't tell me that if you make a law that says that if people participate in something that it's if you catch them, it's illegal, or if they're selling it, it's illegal, or if they commit a crime while using it, that it's obviously illegal, and you make it illegal and it goes away. That absolutely is not the case. And we've seen that with what's been done with alcohol, and we've seen that with what's been done with drugs, and they want to do the same thing with guns. And I imagine we'll probably see the same result. I see very few criminals going out there and be like, I had no idea it was a crime to murder somebody with a gun. I should have used something else. That's ridiculous, right? And so Sherman, to your point, the more government oversight we have on these things, if it's senseless, it usually doesn't help. Quick break. When we come back, Jim Carafano is going to update us on the border mess, and it is a mess. Stick around.
Are you sick and tired of your janitorial company not meeting your expectations? Call Jan Pro of St. Louis, the commercial cleaning company you can count on. Have you had it with your cleaning guys not showing up? Call Jan Pro of St. Louis to get the job done. The Jan Pro cleaning and disinfection process guarantees satisfaction for a wide range of industries and budgets through quality, technology, and a measurement for a consistent clean every time. Tired of no follow-up? Call Jan Pro of St. Louis, 314-989-9977. Trusted, clean, guaranteed.
No paint, don't Rhino. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Never paint again with Rhino Shield. Listen to what a couple of happy customers have to say.
My family's business is over 10,000 square feet, and it did not have the curb appeal I wanted. Our building was really faded. You came out, you gave me all of these options that would fit my building. I don't want to have to paint my building again. 25 years is a long time to not have to worry about the outside maintenance of your building as far as paint. That's a no-brainer. That's why Rhino Shield worked for me.
What a wonderful job they did. It's beautiful. They were very thoughtful, kind, considerate guys. Appreciate all the work that these two young men did.
Call Rhino Shield, 877-25-RHINO, 877-25-RHINO, or 877-25rhino.com. See what we did there? Genius. Tell them, ladies.
No paint, don't Rhino. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm here in St. Louis. I've been warning our clients that IRS employees are back at work since mid-July, and their collection efforts have ramped up. Well, sure enough, it looks like it's happening. So if you have unfiled tax returns, wage levies, bank levies, or tax liens, now's the time to call the Lance Drury Law Firm before the IRS calls you. Tax resolution plans are based off your current income. So if your current income is less than normal due to the COVID-19 pandemic, this is precisely the time for the Lance Drury Law Firm to help you. Your consultation is free, so don't put it off. The Lance Drury Law Firm focuses solely on tax resolution law. It's all we do. And if you have IRS problems, you have legal problems. Let us use our tax law resolution experience to guide you and work on your custom resolution plan. Call now. It's free and confidential. Call me, Lance Drury, at 314-260-6120 or go to Lance, D-R-U-R-Y law.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
A wish can be the spark that helps children fighting critical illnesses believe that anything is possible.
A wish can also transform the lives of children, their families, volunteers, supporters, and entire communities. You too can experience the profound impact of a wish by joining the Make-A-Wish Foundation for the 2021 Centene Walk for Wishes, presented by Emerson, Spectrum, and Stiefel on April 10th. Register today at walkforwishesstl.com. Then join us as we walk so local children can receive
KFTK FM Florissant, driven by the Bomarito Automotive Group, 97.1 FM Talk.
An Odyssey station.
Another chance for small businesses. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. Access to a pandemic lifeline is extended again. Fox's Jared Halpern has this live.
President Biden has signed a 2-month extension of the Paycheck Protection Program, giving small businesses more time to process and apply for loans intended to keep staff on payroll.
And as you know, small business is the backbone of our economy, representing almost 50% of all the employees in America.
The extension was passed overwhelmingly in the House and Senate earlier this month. Without new legislation, the program would have expired tomorrow. The Small Business Administration says the program still has about $79 billion in funding. Lisa.
Thanks, Jared. Meantime, more student loan borrowers now qualify for COVID relief.
There are two groups within the Federal Family Education Loan Program, those with loans held by the Department of Education and those with commercially held loans. During the financial crisis of 2008, the government took on some, but not all loans in order to help out lenders. Well, the ones with the commercially held loans didn't end up qualifying for COVID relief until now. The Secretary of Education says the pause on federal student loan interest and collections now extends to them.
Fox's Jessica Rosenthal. The administration says any tax refunds or wages garnished since the start of the pandemic will be returned, and loans that went into default after last March 13th will be returned to good standing. Attorney General Merrick Garland launching a 30-day review of how the Justice Department can best fight hate crimes, as the White House also takes actions in response to a surge in anti-Asian attacks. President Biden expanding a COVID equity task force to address bias against Asian American communities, and nearly $50 million from COVID relief funds is being given to programs that help victims of anti-Asian violence. America is listening to Fox News.
If you have an unpaid tax debt to the IRS that you can't pay, please hear this special notice. Specially approved IRS relief programs designed to aid delinquent taxpayers are now in effect that can significantly improve your financial situation. Depending on your circumstances, you may qualify to have your tax problem resolved in your favor and may even have your back taxes reduced by thousands or eliminated entirely. A relief hotline has been established by Community Tax for you to call and see if you qualify at 800-229-4150. If you owe the IRS back taxes that you can't afford to pay, don't let the IRS trick you into thinking you have no way out. Our highly accredited tax professionals will let you know what you qualify for and how much you can save. We may be able to stop all liens, garnishments, levies, and save you thousands. Call and see if you qualify for this taxpayer relief at 800-229-4150. 800-229-4150. 800-229-4150. Community Tax. Who's your tax guy?
Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Weather with Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Clouds continue to increase. It's windy, maybe a shower late this afternoon, but it's mild. 72 for the high. Much better chance of showers. Let's say up until about midnight tonight, but most of the rain will be during the evening hours, clearing skies after midnight. It's chilly, 38 on Wednesday, partly sunny, windy and chilly, 49, but feels colder. Chance of some spotty frost anyway, and 29 degrees Wednesday night. This is 97.1 FM Talk, Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
It's time for a redistribution of wealth.
Mark Cox style, Bernie. $1,000 is on the line. Want to win?
This hour's keyword is machine. Text the word machine to 72881 by the end of the hour for your chance to win $1,000. That's machine to 72881. Message and data rates apply. Don't text and drive. Again, that word is machine. This is a national contest.
Presented by Rocket Mortgage. When you want the ability to adjust your loan options in real time, Rocket can. Need to know what it takes for a home loan to fit your budget and your family? Rocket can.
Got Medicaid? Got Medicare. Get more benefits. A dual special needs plan from United Healthcare gives you dental coverage, prescription drug coverage, prepaid debit card to buy over-the-counter products in store or for home delivery, plus additional credits to buy healthy food at many retailers and much more. If you have Medicaid and Medicare, there's more for you. Call 1-877-777-6919. That's 1-877-777-6919. Benefits and features vary by plan/area. Limitations and exclusions apply.
Tired of constantly caring for a home exterior that doesn't look as good as it should? You deserve beautiful, low-maintenance James Hardie fiber cement siding. James Hardie gives you gorgeous colors, stands up to Missouri's harsh weather, and lasts decades. At Lakeside Renovation and Design, we're experts in installing America's #1 siding, and our lifetime workmanship warranty gives you peace of mind. Get a lovely, lasting home exterior with Lakeside Renovation and Design. Request a free consultation at 636-978-5000. That's 636-978-5000. And love your home all over again.
This week, I will be going to visit my dentist at Foley Dental Group, going to get a cleaning on my teeth, routine cleaning, and I am so very glad that I found Foley Dental Group. And I'm hoping that if you're looking for a dentist, that you'll consider Foley Dental Group as well. Here's a couple reasons why. First of all, they can accommodate my family, my husband, my kids, myself. We all obviously have different issues, wide range of ages there, but they make each and every one of us comfortable when we go visit our dentist at Foley Dental Group. They make the situation very cozy and comfortable for kiddos. They're going to provide Netflix at every chair, so your kid's going to be distracted by a show of their choosing, and the staff is fantastic. I mean, these people are fantastic, obviously, at dentistry, but they're very good at customer care, and it really shows. If you have a general dentistry need, if you're just in the need of a new dentist, reach out to Foley Dental Group at 618-288-9670. But also, if you're looking for somebody who can help you with fillings, dental implants, or even crowns in one day, no more waiting for several days or even weeks to get a crown, you can go to Foley Dental Group and you can get that taken care of. 618-288-9670. That's 618-288-9670. They are taking new patients. Why not be one of them? Find them online at FoleyDentalGroup.com.
Hi, this is Curtis Barks. I am the owner of Complete Auto Body and Repair, here to tell you about our touchless automotive service. If you're experiencing the constant struggles of having the kids home from school or just want more of that family time where you can listen to them teach you about what they do every day, we provide touchless automotive service, return the vehicle to you clean and ready to go in the comfort of your own home. Check us out online at CompleteAB.com for more information. If it's not perfect, it's not complete. Others can't compete with Complete Auto Body.
Dad, and service.
Oh yeah, and service.
He fixed the cars.
We all want clean air, clean water, and clean energy. At Ameren, Missouri, we're making real progress. With the right technologies and policies, a clean energy future is possible. Ameren, Missouri is working to make the energy we provide as clean as we can, as fast as we can, while also keeping it reliable and resilient. For us, the path forward is clear. That's energy at work. Learn more at amerenmissouri.com/clean.
Radio.com is now Odyssey. Download the Odyssey app and listen to 97.1 FM Talk and all the news, sports, music, and podcasts that move you. Odyssey, that's AUDACY.
The Annie Fry Show is sponsored by Forensic IT, the tech experts that find the root cause of your technical problems. ForensicIT.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
Right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
For the sake, kid, keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
And let's be honest, people who are encouraging unaccompanied children or migration through irregular means are mostly the smugglers who are agile and who are very loud. So we make sure our messaging is loud that it is not the case, that the border is not open. The second thing we do, though, is we have to understand that these trends are also seasonal. They occur at the beginning of the spring every year. Yes, it is a larger group than usual, but that they will also diminish at a certain point.
So that is the President Biden's border czar, Roberta Jacobson, reminding you that this is a seasonal trend, maybe a little bit more than we've experienced before on the southern border. We have reports that a new migrant caravan is headed its way towards our southern border. But when you see these numbers, these uptick, it's seasonal. I wonder if it's also seasonal with the change of a presidential administration, if that's possible as well. Let's bring our guests on here to the Annie Frey Show. Jim Carafano, the leading expert in national security and foreign policy at the Heritage Foundation. Jim, welcome back to the show. Good to have you here.
So, look, saying that the rush to the border is seasonal is like saying the Depression was just an up or down in the market.
Ugh.
I mean, look, this is a historic 20-year high in illegal immigration. I mean, their talking points are actually incredibly pathetic. One of the things I heard the other day is the Trump administration, they abolished all the detention space. That's why we're having a crisis. Well, yeah, they got rid of detention space because there was nobody detained because nobody was illegally crossing the border. You know, it's like the bank robber complaining that there wasn't enough money in the bank when he robbed it. I mean, I just think their talking points are pathetic, and for a government official to be saying these kind of things, I mean, it literally comes across as kind of as propaganda. I mean, I don't know how else to put it, to be honest.
Carafano, we've all heard that talking point now. They've repeated it quite a bit. It's gone out that this is seasonal, but just straight talk from you. If this were seasonal, this would happen every year at this time, right? But that's not the case.
Well, sure. I mean, when the weather gets nicer, more people try to cross. But we've seen under the Trump administration that the highs and lows in the curve were flattening out because it was much harder to get across the border. And remember, people pay thousands of dollars to the cartels for the right to try to smuggle to come into the United States. Nobody wants to spend that money if they don't think they're going to get in. You know, by some estimates, the cartels today are making $14 million a day.
Whoa.
Now, do you think people are giving $14 million a day to cartels because they think that the Biden administration is going to turn them back at the border? And for them to be claiming, says, well, we're sending our message loud and clear, the border is not open. Well, on day one, when you put out an executive order that says we're going to stop building the wall, that official piece of paper speaks a lot more loudly. And look, you can just picture this, right? The coyote goes into the village with his iPhone. What do you think he is showing them? Do you think he's showing them Roberta saying the border is closed? Or do you think he's showing them the news article that says Biden has shut down the border wall? I mean, what do you think they're hearing?
Right. Well, obviously, with the influx of people, I think we know. You talk about $14 million a day to these drug cartels. Let's talk about not the first domino in this chain of this effect, but the second, third, or fourth domino. What does it do to our country and to these other countries who are being ransacked by these cartels when all of this money is being infused into their process? I mean, I've got to think that's massively emboldening.
Well, so for example, you take that $14 million and then you turn around and you get on a plane, you fly to China, and you buy $14 million worth of precursors to make fentanyl. You bring that fentanyl back, and that $14 million in stuff is going to turn into literally hundreds of millions of dollars in profit in illegal drugs, in opioids that you smuggle in the United States. And did they also mention that overdoses in America are an all-time high? Is that just a seasonal thing too? So they're basically recruiting people for the cartel to raise money to buy opioids to feed the opioid epidemic in America. And I don't think I would put out a talking point that said that this is just a seasonal problem, nothing to see here, no big deal. I don't think I would do that.
Jim Carafano is leading expert in national security and foreign policy at Heritage. Despite their best efforts, the Biden administration to kind of hand wave this, make it go away or pretend that it's not a big deal. This is a big deal. and it's not going away, and they haven't been able to hand wave it. It's still being talked about because it is such a big deal. Jim, do you see the Biden administration beginning to try to stem the tide here at all? I mean, is there any indication that they're addressing it?
No, I mean, to be honest, I think their way of addressing this is they want to build more infrastructure so they can have an orderly process of illegal immigration. Their only problem is with that they got caught with a flood. They would like to have a systemic way for illegal immigrants to come to the United States in kind of a sustained way. That when they send more people to the border, they don't talk about securing the border or building a wall or doing anything. They're talking about volunteers and other people so they can process people and allow them to come in the United States more quickly. And I'll tell you, look, this is not just a domestic security crisis. Every adversary around the world is looking at how they're managing their first big crisis. And what do they see? They see a disengaged president. They see a administration that is much more intent on covering its mistakes than it is in actually addressing the problem. And I think they interpret that as a great sign of weakness and saying, well, you know what? Thank you for kind of giving us a blueprint on how to poke this administration and kind of get away with it. So is it a coincidence that we're seeing a more aggressive North Korea, China, Russia, and Iran when they see how these guys actually handle their national security responsibilities? It might be a coincidence, or they might be taking a cue from how this administration responds to a crisis and saying, well, we can do that.
We're speaking with Jim Carafano, who is an expert of national security and foreign policy issues with Heritage Foundation. I want to ask you a little bit about the world stage, how they're viewing this administration, specifically with the mental acuity of President Biden. I was listening to some people on Fox News, some pundits on Fox News talking about how, regardless of which country it is looking at President Biden, there are people who will pay attention. They did it to Donald Trump. If he did something that appeared weak, they would use it to exploit it and to use it as a way to identify weakness with the United States. When the president is stumbling, whether it's his words or up the stairs, and he loses his train of thought and he doesn't speak with clarity, is that something that actually does carry some weight on the global stage with our adversaries and maybe even with our allies?
Well, to be honest, I don't really think so. First of all, I'm not a neuroscientist, so I have no idea what his cognitive state is, and I would never, comment on that because I'm not qualified to do that. But if there's something that Iran and North Korea and Russia and China all have in common, it's that they don't care about words; they care about actions because they're fundamentally driven by power. What do people do? And I think that's what they're actually responding. They're looking at seeing what this administration does, and I think they're seeing an opportunity to at least test the veracity of this administration. And I think we see them all doing that. And I see Kristen across the board. The administration just came up with an unbelievable sweetheart deal for the Iranians, which is, we will partially remove the sanctions if you partially comply with the Iran deal. This is like telling the bank robber, you only have to bring back half the money. And the Iranians just looked him in the face and said, no. I think this administration has a long way to go to prove to its adversaries that it's tough on the key issues. Now, I'm not saying they're bad across the board. They've actually been pretty good in the Indo-Pacific. They've been strong supporters of Taiwan, Hong Kong. They've been tough on the Uyghurs. But what we see as a pattern here, which is where they actually just kind of continue doing Trump stuff, they're actually fine. And where they kind of drift the furthest away from that, whether it's in the Middle East or on the border, they're actually getting themselves in lots of trouble. And I think the bad guys are seeing that, and I think they're from that they're essentially getting a roadmap and say, oh, okay, now I know how I can mess with this administration. I'm still not really sure we know who's really in charge here. I said the vice president was going to be in charge of the border, and then 24 hours later, her spokesperson said, no, she's not in charge. So I'm not really, if we really have a clear understanding of who's really running foreign policy in this administration yet.
Does it concern you that there's been a rebranding of the Biden administration to the Biden-Harris administration? And with that being said, there have been a lot of articles that come out from various different outlets talking about how Vice President Harris is taking high-level meetings with foreign country on foreign policy issues. Is this as unusual as some of these media outlets make it out to be, or is this concerning to you?
I don't know if it's substantive yet. I mean, you know the old Saturday Night Live skit, with Coke and Pepsi, right? They just tear the sign down. It's Pepsi, and they just put a new sign. It's Coke, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know if this is just kind of their kind of cute branding, and they're just trying to, it's just their way of being woke, or if it really reflects a true balance of power in the administration. I just think I'm just being honest. I think it's too early to tell. I don't think there is a clear sign there. For example, if Harris is taking the reins, then why did she walk away from the biggest crisis of the administration? You think she'd be all over that. So I'm not really sure. I think
we
it's
have
too
more
early to tell.
questions than answers at this point in time.
Well, things are not going well.
There's a lot of questions to be asked.
There is that.
Yeah. Jim Carafano, thank you. Always a pleasure to speak with you. Hope you have a great afternoon.
Thanks for having me. You guys have the best show on radio, period.
Wow,
Stop.
that is
End of statement.
That is a bold statement. Checks in the mail, Jim. Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
All right, there you
go. Talk to you again soon. We're gonna take a quick break. Katie, do we have a guest when we come back?
First of all, my head is so big right now. I mean, come on.
Do you need a minute?
I need a minute.
Griff Jenkins. When we had Griff Jenkins on, Griff Jenkins was like, I will do whatever you ask if you give Katie a raise. And I'm like, I've got $20 in my pocket that I borrowed from somebody. I can give her that. This is about the extent of say that I have in it, as much as I have not advocated heavily for it. Katie's got Griff Jenkins around her finger, got Jim Carafano saying crazy bold statements.
And now I booked one of the greatest, Mark Reardon.
How'd you get him?
I can't believe it. I really,
Mark Reardon?
I can't believe it.
Of the Mark Reardon show on 97.1 FM Talk, right after the Annie Fry show.
That's him.
He's going to be on with us?
Oh, he's going to be on with us.
Is he coming in? A different Mark Reardon.
Is he coming in studio?
He's coming in studio.
Okay, will you let us put him on camera?
Mm-hmm. Yep. He's got a nice tan going on. He just got back from vacay.
He took the most beautiful video of his daughter riding a horse at sunset on the beach. And I question I question everything about him, that he came back here from that to be on 97.1. He must be pretty excited about being the drive time show on 97.1. We're excited to have him here. You can watch the first on-air conversation of Mark Reardon in studio with the Annie Fry Show on our YouTube channel, the Annie Fry YouTube channel, or the Annie Fry Show Facebook channel. We're live there, and he's going to come in and take the studio by storm. Katie said he has a lot of energy. We'll be right back.
Say it's all right, have a good time, 'cause it's all right, oh, it's all right. Everybody clap your hands.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show.
Give yourself a taste.
Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Everybody knows that it's...
Hi, Chad Hansen with Hansen's Tree Service. Spring is here, and if your trees are looking sick or if you have insects that aren't welcome in your landscape, Hansen's can help. Our plant health care program offers tree and shrub fertilization as well as pest management to maintain a great-looking landscape. Check us out at hansenstree.com.
I'm Dr. Nick Barnes at Health From Within Family Chiropractic in Rock Hill. At Health From Within, our mission is to transform the way you manage your health by bringing you the truth about health and healing. We use proven techniques to remove interference in the nervous system and maximize health naturally, without drugs or surgery. Connect with me at healthfromwithinstl.com and join me for Maximize Living on this station every Sunday at 8 a.m. or download the Maximize Living podcast, healthfromwithinstl.com.
Puppies have been really hard to come by because, let's face it, demand is up. Mark Cox here. If you've been waiting to add a new furry member to your family this holiday, visit my friends at Petland. We're all home more right now, which makes this a great time to get a Petland puppy. The owners, Tom and Jeff, have amazing relationships. They can offer the best selection of puppies in Missouri. That's Petland at 6131 Ronald Reagan Drive in Lake St. Louis. Go to petlandstl.com. Spring is a great time to upgrade the energy efficiency in your home with new windows. Mark Cox here from my friends at Window World. I'm a satisfied customer. You will be too. Call them today for a free home estimate. They'll show you why they are simply the best for less. Window World windows are so durable. They stand behind their windows with a lifetime warranty that covers all parts and glass breakage and labor. They were ranked #1 in windows sold in the country by Qualified Remodeler magazine, and they're the preferred window of the St. Louis Blues. Window World does great work, as they did in my home when they replaced 2 large bathroom windows. They measured them, they built them, and got them installed in no time. You will love working with my friends over at Window World. They're now offering 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit. Call them today at 314-993-1800, 993-1800, or windowworld.com.
This is 97.1 FM Talk with Mark Cox and Brian Kilmeade in the morning.
There's no doubt about it.
Followed by Annie Fry and now Mark Reardon in the afternoon.
Right, every time.
It's all on the #1 talk station in St. Louis, 97.1 FM Talk.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. Happy Tuesday. I just heard we're supposed to have like a hard freeze this week or something like that. That's crazy. I didn't authorize that. Mark Reardon goes, where'd you go to? Mexico. And your video, Mark, of was it your daughter riding on a horse on the beach on your Twitter?
Wasn't that cool? It was really, really cool. Yeah, there were some horses where I say we were in an area north of Cabo on the Pacific side.
Did you tame that horse yourself?
Well, no, they were there at this condo complex that we stay at, and that was her little friend Victoria who was with her, and they took a nice walk down the beach. But what's funny is I didn't know where they were going to be. She comes out and says, "Hey, I'm going to go on the horse with Victoria," and Victoria doesn't speak any English really, and Alexa doesn't speak Spanish. So I said, "Yeah, sure, go ahead. She's only 6. Why not? Go do what you need to." So I'm waiting because I think I know where they're going to come from, and I couldn't find them. And then all of a sudden, I asked Victoria's little brother, and he pointed toward the beach. And I'm like, okay, so I run down to the beach, and I caught this amazing video. I will say this, maybe I'll post this as well. Have you ever been to Hawaii or an area like this where the whales are everywhere?
Mm-mm.
It's
lovely.
amazing. And if you go to Hawaii, try to time it in the winter when the whales are there, because you see these humpbacks off, the coast in many situations. And this is what we just got on video sent to me today. You'll see a mother, maybe it's a father, teaching a baby how to breach and, swap the tails and everything. So my friend John, who is the host of this trip, spent 2 weeks down there. He's coming back like right now, but he spent 2 weeks trying to get a drone on top of these whales. And the day I left was Saturday, but Friday afternoon, we had these whales that were just putting on a show, a few hundred yards out from the shore. So we run up to the room, we get the drone out. He's got the drone over the whales. We can't get it angled right. I mean, he had tried this for 2 weeks. Well, he just sent a video, and this is unfair to do this on the radio, but it is stunning National Geographic video of humpback whales. And what I told him is, because I was boasting about my video with my daughter, I'm like, I'm definitely going to win an Oscar for this. I think he just beat me out for the Oscar with this video. When you guys see this, it's amazing.
Where are you putting it?
I'll try to put it up on Twitter, but I'm trying to get, this is weird because I'm getting ready for a radio show and I had to drive into work today, Annie, and that's very unusual for me. So I'm all off my regular schedule.
It's just I'm retweeting the video right now. You guys have to go here and see it. So I'm looking at this beautiful horse on this beautiful beach with this beautiful little girl and a beautiful sunset, and I'm thinking I would probably just stay there. I would figure out a way to make that exist in my life for some time. And you came back to 97.1, and we're so excited to have you here now that you are full-time, 3 p.m. to 6 p.m., the drive time host, the Mark Reardon Show, right here on 97.1. How was the first day on? I was not here yesterday, unfortunately, but I wanted to make sure we had a conversation with you. How was the first day? Lots different, I assume, from the KMOX way of doing things?
Yeah, the funny thing about it was that I insisted on running my own board. I can't remember. Do you run your own board?
Mm-mm.
Katie runs it for you.
I'm
Well, I
running.
know today because she's on location, but like even if you
Yeah.
were back here
No.
you would not run your own board. So
Katie's the master
Yeah.
on the Annie Fry Show.
I'm a control freak, so I have to run my own board. A lot of the folks over on the other side of the building, they don't, but it's just something. It was a disc jockey instinct. I was a disc jockey, so I always ran my own board. But I had not run this particular board and really hadn't even taken a look at it until Katie ran me through some of the particulars yesterday. But I would give yesterday maybe a solid C+. I was making some technical mistakes, but we got through it, and I just have to get comfortable. I will say this. I came away from yesterday thinking, this is going to be a lot of fun for me because it's different than starting new jobs in new markets, which I've done many times, because then you don't know what you're encountering. You don't know any of the people. You really don't know the audience. And there's still an issue with me with half the audience. I know a lot of folks aren't familiar with me. That's nerve-wracking, and it takes a while to settle in. I'm going to give myself a few days, and if I'm not killing it here by the end of the week, you can send me back to Mexico. How does that sound?
It's a win-win situation here for you. I do understand, especially being the host of the show. I am a control freak. There's no way around it. And Katie and Ryan obviously know that. Look at Katie's smile right now. You see the smile on her face. She's like, oh, that's sweet of her to admit that.
You know what though?
In public,
it's your show. It's
It
Mark's
is.
show, and that's your baby. You want to make sure it's great.
When someone comes in and says everything's going to change and you need to do it this way, it's very hard to peel away from the old habits that you rely on, because Mark, to watch the news as it's happening in real time, you put an outline together. This is what the show's going to be. Something crazy happens in the middle of the show, and while all the craziness is going on, and you might be directing people to be doing things or pulling sound or whatever it might be, you have to present yourself like you're just having a casual conversation with folks. And hey, how's it going? Thanks for listening. You got to be super sharp. I've never even considered doing the board myself. I think that's pretty fantastic that you do that.
Well, that's like anything else. It's with experience, and I've done it so long that it becomes second nature. And it was actually probably easier yesterday because I haven't used a board in a year. Because I haven't been here in a year. So had I been running the other board, it's a little opposite. For whatever reason, the microphones are on the left in this studio, which, by the way, makes sense and is where they should be. We kind of have it reversed over there and never understood why. So no, that's going to be an easy transition. But there's little technical things. The listeners probably don't care about this. I'll press a wrong button here and again that I'm not used to in this studio, but we'll get through it. I'm not too anxious about the board work.
So you go on vacation and you're in Mexico, and God, I hope that when you go there, you shut everything else off. Vacation has to be vacation. And especially like you probably, I don't know if you relate to this like I do, but if I'm going to take time off and actually enjoy what I would call actual time off, it kind of has to be more lengthy, because if you're going to take maybe just a long weekend or just a Friday off here or a Monday off there, you really don't have the luxury of unplugging, because you're going to have to catch up with everything when you come back. If you take a longer period of time off, it lets you decompress a little bit and then kind of ramp back up a little bit. When I took yesterday off because I had to take care of some things with my kiddo, and when I go back after this long weekend of sorts, so much of the news it's different details, but the same story, the same issues over and over and over again. There's a border crisis going on. We just talked to Jim Carafano about that. There's a scandal with the New York governor. There's cancel culture going on, COVID, vaccines, masks, do you, don't you, so on and so forth. Do you get sick of the Groundhog Day nature of some of the larger stories?
Yeah. In it, I think it's going to be worse now from this standpoint. The Groundhog nature, usually you can maybe peel away a couple of different surfaces from that, but I don't even think that that's going to happen, because most of the media is not going to try to peel some of those surfaces away unless they get very, very frustrated at getting some of the same answers. And we've seen a little bit of that in the briefing room. But sure, some of this gets very, very much in cycles. I do, going back to your point, though, I am able to peel back, not open Twitter, things along those lines when I'm on vacation. But I was down there with a bunch of people, and they're very successful people. Some of the people I was with, they worked every day. Like, they were on Zoom calls. They could not peel themselves away. Now, a couple of them were in the mortgage industry, and they got to work because it's hot right now and they're closing deals. So I guess I get it from that perspective, but that's just not a vacation. So I almost deleted Twitter from my phone last week just so I wouldn't even be tempted to put anything up. on it. And then I know that there were comments coming in from the shows changing too. I'm like, I don't want to see that. If it's negativity or if it's positivity, sometimes you think too much of that. So I was able to get away from it and start fresh. But I probably missed some significant things that happened in the news too.
This is sacrifice. Yeah.
Yes.
Mark, I heard a little bit of the show yesterday and enjoyed it. I wanted to be there from the start, just like a lot of our listeners did, and heard you tell a cool story about David Letterman and some stuff that I was like, ooh, this is going to be fun. Just in general, though, aside from like some of the technical stuff of clocks and differences between 97.1 and KMOX, I mean, your politics aren't going to change. That's who you are. Is your approach to doing the station different? Because we're a little looser over here in general.
Yeah, that's the great thing. And I'm going to tell you, I'm really going to enjoy that. Mark's not a guy who follows the rules very well anyway. And I think I might have referenced this yesterday. So we have, and I've always worked in very strict clocks with AM radio stations because I've worked at 3 Heritage News talk stations. So you sort of have to hit things at a certain time and get to the breaks on time. And then you have the top of the hour news. But I like a more relaxed format, which is why I never paid attention to the clock. And our boss, Steve Moore, will tell you that. So I was pushing and pushing. And then you get that meeting or the call, the show meeting. Hey, maybe start doing this and hitting the break on time. And then I get yelled at. But I've gotten yelled at so many times by Steve that it sort of just bounces off of me. But I really, the real answer is I'm going to enjoy this format more because it is going to be looser and there's not going to be that time constraint. We did these things over there and they were actually fun. They were called KMOX Profiles. It was a way for Steve to force us all to do more work without paying us more when there was sports broadcasts. So when we lost the Blues at KMOX, there was a lot of airtime that wasn't going to be there, filled. So he's like, hey guys, you're not going to make any more money, but why don't you work more and do these interviews with people and we'll sort of flip them around as profiles. But the dirty little secret is I really enjoyed doing those because they were in a looser format and more free. It was almost like doing a podcast. And when we recorded them, it was just, one session. So you do basically 45 minutes to an hour of recording. So this is, I think, a little bit more like that. And I tend to get into situations where I do want to go on. And one of the biggest frustrations I have is, oh man, out of time. So I'm going to like that a lot.
Katie, you want to go ahead real quick before you ask to run?
I know that coming from KMOX, you kind of did the show by yourself. How is it having Sue and Andrew? Because I also listened to the first show yesterday too. I love it. I know that Andrew has different ideology than you do, and I'm excited to see what goes on. Sue probably has different ideology than you do as well. But I just want to see what is like the biggest difference between going by yourself behind a microphone to having, people there with you that you can have a conversation
so
with.
Here, I'm just going to keep it real. And here's the answer. I don't know these guys that well. I don't know Sue a little bit. I don't know Andrew. So it's unusual, but I'm fine with it. And I like differing opinions and I want more voices. That's not to say, here's my I guess just anxiety about it, because I'm going to let loose on some of these topics. And the 97.1 audience might not know that, but I'm going to put the hammer down on some people. And I'm not afraid when I get in a zone, there's ranting and raving. And it's not like that's the only focus of my show where I'm on my soapbox. But if I'm passionate about something, and Annie, I know you are, and we all are, if we do this, there's going to be moments where because I'm so used to doing a show by myself, it's almost like that tunnel vision and the other people around me might not even know what's happening at the time. So I don't know what their reaction is going to be. So I'm curious about that. I'm just going to have to see what happens, really, because I don't know how that's going to work. You're always working with different people in radio, and we had a pretty big crew over in KMOX that, moved in and out, but never people that have been in the studio with me the whole time. So I like that because I've always been looking for an ensemble, but that could create some interesting dynamics, maybe some tense dynamics, which that's not always a bad thing, right?
Not at all.
No, I
was
like
going
that.
to say, the beautiful thing about live radio is that while you are figuring out, everybody will get to listen.
Yeah, exactly.
So we will be glued to our radios for the Mark Reardon Show, 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. here on 97.1 FM Talk. A big warm welcome from us here on the Annie Fry Show. I am imploring the listeners of the show to, if you don't know what the Mark Reardon Show is about, you got to stick around and find out for yourself, because if you thought you knew what it was about, it might sound a little bit different on 97.1 because he's got some tools at his advantage. Time, which lets him do some different things. So we will be listening today. Thank you for the time. We know you got to run. So good to talk to you. We'll be listening at 3.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. We'll talk soon.
Yes, we will. And he sent me a text with that whale video in. Wherever he ends up putting that, you need to go and see this. It's gorgeous. You follow him on Twitter at Mark Reardon, KFTK, and on 97.1 from 3 to 6 p.m. We'll be back with What I Miss in just a minute.
If you don't mind, hell, I'll never mind.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show.
Now let them all break you, let the feeling come take you.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studio. Air Comfort Service is hiring licensed journeymen. Get guaranteed hours year-round and up to $25,000 signing bonus and more. Apply online at aircomfortservice.com. That's aircomfortservice.com.
A reading from the Golden Oak Lending Book of Mortgage Lingo. What is Zipline? It's Golden Oak's fast and easy online mortgage tool that leaves you with more time to plan a family movie night.
I get to pick the movie.
And clean up the popcorn you weren't planning on sharing. At Golden Oak Lending, we speak mortgage and love translating it. Right now, rates are at a record low 1.875%. Visit goldenoaklending.com to use Zipline. NMLS 114937, 1.875% fixed, 2.913% APR. FHA 15-year mortgage with 20% equity and approved credit. 111 Westport Plaza, St. Louis, Missouri.
Lakeside Renovation and Design.com is the website. That's Lakeside Renovation and Design.com. You've heard me talking about the reliability of working with Lakeside. The people who work at Lakeside are good people. They're the best at their craft in the St. Louis region. If you have a project on the Missouri or Illinois side of the river, you need to give Lakeside a phone call. 636-978-5000. That's 636-978-5000. When you call Lakeside, you're going to find out about all of the things they offer on top of their pristine work when it comes to your home improvement project, your kitchen, basement, or bathroom remodel, or if you're looking for something outdoors, decks, room addition, screen rooms, front and rear porches, James Hardy siding, infinity window replacement. They have it all, and they are the best that St. Louis has to offer at a great value to you, to the life of your home, especially when you factor in that lifetime workmanship warranty on top of the manufacturer's warranty. They are dedicated and committed to greatness and doing that with each project that they invest their time in and that you choose to invest in Lakeside. Lakeside Renovation and Design.com.
At your house, you're the ruler of the thermostat. And Ameren Missouri is giving you the power to save with a $0 smart thermostat while supplies last. Find terms at amerenmissouri.com/save now. Taxes and enrollment and peak time savings apply.
Spring is finally here, and you deserve an upgrade. There's no better way to upgrade than with a new Hyundai filled with all the latest technology, including the digital smartphone key. Save big on all our Hyundai models and get the upgrade you deserve only at the Hyundai Spring Upgrade event.
Sign and drive today and enjoy 0 down payment, 0 first payment, and 0 security deposit on the Tucson, Kona, or Sonata. See your local Hyundai dealer today. Offers end March 31st, 2021. Call 224-661-0068 for details.
Whether you're an experienced sports bettor or someone who's just starting out, BetQL is here to help us become better bettors. Get access to data and insights the sportsbooks don't want you to see. Bet smarter and beat the books. Download the BetQL app or visit BetQL.com today.
Hello, Marvin Mitchell here from Compass Retirement Solutions. Did you know that the average 3-year CD rate in the area was less than 1%? That's why we are excited to offer you several accounts that are short-term and pay better than bank rates. For example, we currently have a 3-year account paying 2.4% and a 5-year account paying 3.5% per year guaranteed. What a great place for your lazy money. You know, the money that you don't plan to use for the next 3 to 5 years. Now, terms and conditions do apply. So for more information, call 314-373-1598. Again, call 314-373-1598. This is Marvin Mitchell, and we would like to put your lazy money to work for you. Call 314-373-1598.
Guarantees are backed by the claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company. Rates can change without notice. Investments and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and Illinois.
Do you promise to love, honor, and cherish, forsaking all others?
I do.
I do.
And now, by the power vested in me, I now pronounce you roommates. Go forth and...
That's not the vow you took.
But if struggles with CPAP have you and your spouse sleeping in separate rooms, growing apart, and feeling more like roommates than loving partners, it might be time to look into Inspire. Inspire is the only FDA-approved sleep apnea treatment that works inside the body with just the click of a remote. That's right, just a button. There is no mask or hose and no need to sleep in separate rooms. If you are struggling with CPAP, great sleep awaits at inspiresleep.com. That's inspiresleep.com. Inspire. Sleep apnea innovation. No mask, no hose, just sleep.
Talk to your doctor to see if Inspire is right for you. Review important safety information at inspiresleep.com.
Odyssey is all the audio that matters to you. Listen on your smart speaker or voice-assisted device. Amazon Echo, Google Nest, Sonos, Apple HomePod. It's so easy to play your favorites at your command. Hands-free. All kinds of music from all over the country. Top 40, rock, R&B, country, alternative, and more. Sports talk and coverage from all the leagues. News from coast to coast. It's all here. Just ask your smart speaker to play your favorite station. Explore a universe of audio. Odyssey.
Mark Cox here. Guys, let Victory Men's Health help you regain your vitality by optimizing your hormones, vitamins, and sexual health. Victory Men's Health has the most cutting-edge technologies to treat ED. They have wave therapy. Listen, this is the biggest advancement for men with ED since the launch of Viagra. That's pretty incredible. They do the treatments in their office. Victory Men's Health offers wave therapy in both their Illinois and Missouri location. Check them out online today at victorymenshealth.com.
The Mark Cox Morning Show.
If you've got student loan debt, you love this plan.
If you think it's a disaster to increase unemployment benefits because people won't go get a job, wait till you're paying them $12,000 a year to sit home and do nothing.
Weekday mornings 5 to 9.
So I dipped over into Twitter and had to watch and retweet that video that I was talking about with Mark Reardon on his trip to Mexico. And he took this beautiful video of his daughter riding this horse in the sunset on the beach. It's like, it's not even real. It's so beautiful. And so while I'm there, I'm getting trolled by somebody on Twitter, which usually I just mute you people, which but I have some time here and idle hands, you know. This person was upset that I suggested that I might know better for my children than Dr. Fauci. And it's kind of funny because she suggests that Dr. Fauci would know what's better for my children than I would. And I contest that and say, no, in fact, I think I know what's better for my kids. She wanted to know where I got my medical degree from. And I'm like, I birthed these children in a hospital. That's my medical degree. There's a birth certificate. It's got my name on it. But so we went back and forth a little bit. You can follow us at Annie Fry Show if you want to see. And I want to say hi to this person because I can't read what she tweeted because I do this show as if my kids were in the car listening, and my kids don't need to hear this, what she said to me. But Brian, I want you to check it out because I think that her comments could be a good promo for the show. And she replied back, I happen to work for a person who has 97.1 on all day long. I would never listen to you voluntarily. And I want to know who that person is.
Dang.
If we can get audio on that, although I might have to bleep about half of it. So I don't know if it'd come through very well. But
well, like I said, not all heroes wear capes. So to whomever this is who is exposing this person to our show, to Mark Cox's show in the morning, Brian Kilmeade, the Mark Reardon show at 3 p.m., I thank you. And to this woman who's tweeting me, I'm sorry that your day has been ruined by me involuntarily. Thank you for tweeting me to tell me about it. So I get a little extra rental space in your brain. Katie, what'd I miss?
Hey, what'd I miss?
So speaking of Dr. Fauci, he has been getting into a little spat involving Dr. Birx and Trump. But he took some credit here, took some liberties on the vaccine rollout.
When I saw what happened in New York City,
Refrigerated trucks are now being mobilized as makeshift morgues.
Almost overrunning of our healthcare system. It was like, oh my goodness. And that's when it became very clear that the decision we made on January the 10th to go all out and develop a vaccine, we had a number of vaccine candidates, may have been the best decision that I've ever made with regard to an intervention as the director of the Institute.
Do you remember watching, what was the ship called that Trump sent to New York?
The Comfort?
Yeah.
Yeah, the
I think
Comfort.
you're right.
Yeah.
Well done, Katie. I remember watching that. I remember Trump saluting it as he sent it off, and I remember it docking. And I remember thinking, my God, this is magnificent. Not in the sense that it is great, but this is just a really huge and heavy situation. And knowing while that ship was there, and then that, to me, the Comfort, that ship is like just a really good icon and symbol of what government was doing and where we are right now. That was a waste of fuel to send that ship to New York. And that's because of Andrew Cuomo. The way they could have utilized that and the way that they didn't, it's mind-boggling. And to know that Dr. Fauci is now going to be taking credit for all the good stuff and none of the blame for the bad stuff, I'm over it. And yes, I do know more about raising my children specifically than Dr. Fauci. Oh, and she also says that I can use it as a promo. The Twitter troll says, use it as a promo, girl, but don't think you're going to use it without paying me. Okay. All righty then.
Okay. I mean, just send a bill to our boss.
Like Fiverr?
As Mark Reardon said, he's free with it. So
Yeah, he makes us work for free. That was Mark Reardon's.
That's what I mean. So yeah, just concerning Fauci really quick. Are we as a show okay with calling the vaccination a Fauci ouchie? Are we up or are we down on that?
I've never heard that.
You know how I am on cute, kitschy nicknames. I'm
Fauci
super
ouchie.
excited about it.
This is a White House COVID czar saying, you know what, guys, let's start adopting and following the lead of the cases that have the states that have high case numbers and not the declining COVID case numbers.
One of the reasons why so many people are getting lax about the mask mandates and restrictions is because they're vaccinated. Shouldn't the millions of vaccinated Americans be able to do what they want? That's how they're feeling.
Well, good morning, Stephanie. Thanks for having me on. Look, we're not out of this pandemic yet. We still have an accelerating threat. And if you've been vaccinated, that's wonderful. I'm really glad about that. But, Joe, we also have to remember that there's millions and millions of people that haven't yet been vaccinated. And so lifting all these restrictions, telling people not to wear masks, gathering in large crowds, that's the equivalent of playing with fire. Now, if we were talking about this in 6 weeks, it would be a completely different story. But why we're doing it now, it's as if we don't want to have any, this is the governors around the country, some of them don't want to have any role in the rescue of our country and our citizens.
Correction. Nobody is telling people not to wear masks. Don't be confused with removing a mask mandate from whether or not you get to choose to wear a mask or not. If you remove a mask, if a state removes a mask mandate and you want to wear a mask because this is the greatest country in the world, you can still wear a mask. If you were not under a mask mandate, that doesn't mean you are under a no mask mandate. And that is a lie for him to be saying that. That is an absolute lie where he's perpetuating this idea that somehow or another there are people who are in government positions who still believe in freedom and liberty, who believe that allowing people to make decisions for themselves is the American thing to do. It's either the government tells you to do something or not to do something. That's un-American. Stop it.
I'm glad to hear him say something about 6 weeks. That sounds pretty good, except that these people talking have lost all their credibility on timelines from March of 2020 at 15 days to slow the spread. We're supposed to believe, oh, well, now they know that in 6 weeks, everything will be different.
Somebody do the math on the ratio of 15 days to slow the spread and where we are right now and what that converts to in 6 weeks. And don't tell me, because I don't feel like crying right now.
Dr. Naomi Wolf has a pretty scary outlook on what could happen if these vaccine passports actually happen.
I am not overstating this. I can't say it forcefully enough. This is literally the end of human liberty in the West if this plan unfolds as planned. Vaccine passport sounds like a fine thing if you don't understand what those platforms can do. I'm CEO of a tech company. I understand what this platform does. It's not about the vaccine. It's not about the virus. It's about your data. And once this rolls out, you don't have a choice about being part of the system. What people have to understand is that any other functionality can be loaded onto that platform with no problem at all. And what that means is it can be merged with your PayPal account, with your digital currency. Microsoft is already talking about merging it with payment plans. Your networks can be sucked up. It geolocates you everywhere you go. Your credit history can be included.
Bleak. Scary. That's all I have to say. It's very bleak.
I am so glad we're pushing back on this. I don't know what our audience thinks about this at all, but I've been saying this from day one that if this day ever happened, I was going to push hard. And so hold the line. I'm pushing.
Mm-hmm. This next one is from a former senator of North Dakota talking about Gina Carano.
Mandalorian, what did she do? She liked something? Or...
She was a Nazi.
Oh, that's different, right? I'm thinking of somebody else. Well, she's not a Nazi.
She's a white. She's
involved. Look at that. You're calling her.
She's called other people Nazis.
Right.
So she's the Nazi.
Okay. Everyone's a Nazi now.
Yeah.
She does hang with white supremacists.
It's like a Mel Brooks.
She does?
Yeah.
Hangs with white supremacists.
I suppose I'm now subject to defamation.
I don't know. I mean, it depends on what your definition of white supremacist is. That also, the goalpost there changed a lot. Used to be a guy in a Klan hood who...
But I think we have to be really careful. There's two things the Republicans think they're going to get Biden on. Cancel culture and this whole Dr. Seuss stuff that's going on where they're reading Green Eggs and Ham, proving that some of these senators can actually read.
So that's Heidi Heidkamp.
Yep.
First of all, Gina Carano was canceled because of Nazi references. So I guess obviously it follows that she would be canceled. But to quote Katie Pavlich on Outnumbered earlier today, you did introduce her as the former senator, which means the voters already canceled her. So I guess Bill Maher is all she's got.
Bill Maher, welcome to right of center. All of a sudden, you haven't moved, but culture has put you there. Welcome to the party.
I love his pushback on that clip. I think that he is going to be one. I think a lot of people believe that he will be a safe space. And I'm hoping and praying that he still pushes back on these people and makes it really uncomfortable for them.
So much. And you know, when he says, oh, I guess everybody's a Nazi right now. If everybody's a Nazi, then you don't understand what a Nazi was. I am not in favor of the references to Nazi Germany and everything that it goes in there because it does discount what it actually was. But if we're going to be canceling people for things like this, shouldn't we cancel them on both sides of the aisle? Like I said on Twitter a few weeks ago, what if we just uncanceled everything? I'm in favor of, I'm moving in the direction of uncanceling because I can't keep up with this nature. Mark Rutten Show is coming up next. Katie, get away from that board. He's coming in and he's a master at it. The Mark Rutten Show. Just a minute.
Hi, this is Lance Drury. If you have payroll tax problems, you have serious